That's alright, Mama. That's alright with you. That's alright, Mama. And just any way you do. That's alright. That's alright. That's alright now, Mama. Any way you do. Come on, man. Can you feel the pain? Into him now. About this new world. Ain't no train. Papa's got a brand new eye. Purple haze in my brain. Lately things just don't seem the same. Acting funny and I don't know why. Excuse me while I kiss the sky.
Welcome to the Don't Unfriend Me show. Matt and Leeroy in the house tonight. I want to do something a little bit different than usual. Tariffs. We had a gentleman, I believe his name was Robert. I just saw him pop in and got lucky, man. Usually I don't see that stuff that quick. But right when the show posted, he's like, hey, man, like, how are these tariffs supposed to create American jobs? So I'll tell you, tariffs don't create American jobs. The government doesn't create jobs. The only people who create American jobs are the people in the free market. Specifically, about 96% of the major businesses in the United States are small business, and then the corporations take care of the rest. But to drive prices down, the best way to do it, I know this sounds a little crazy, is to drive the cost of goods up. Now, there's two things. One is it's either going to be paid by the consumer or it's going to be absorbed by the big companies. Now, there will be small price increases, but they can't eat their margin that much. So what they will do is increase the prices slightly. We will feel it, but other companies in the United States will be able to absorb those costs by opening up plants here. By opening up plants here, it would then make it cheaper instead of going overseas to go ahead and do business here in the United States. Then those other businesses will drive prices down. Ultimately, this is why DVD players and TV sets and other things and small appliances come out high, and then in the end they come out end because of competition. It is a short-term increase in prices and a long-term gain. The question is, does America have the stomach for it? With food, you're never going to adjust food prices. They're never going to come down. That's why Donald Trump lifted the tariffs, but he's going to keep it on textiles, mercantile, stuff like that. I hope that explains it for you. We can go into it a little bit more in just a second. See you in 3 minutes.
Are you tired of being so confused? You feel like you're more fucked up than the lies on the evening news. Well, just step right in. We can talk about it all as friends. And if you want, we can hug and kiss and make up for the party ends. Agree or disagree, stop offering me. 'Cause I'm everything you want, damn sure what you need. I won't tell no lies, back up on the facts we true. And if you can't get down with that, you must be somebody's stuff.
Real important message here. If you haven't checked it out yet, you absolutely have to. There is this podcast that I'm sure some of you have seen me on. It's phenomenal. It's called The Dumb Show or The Don't Unfriend Me Show. You can find them on all social media at The Dumb Show or visit thedumbshow.com. Listen to their podcast. Absolutely perfect with host Matthew Spear.
Adjusting transmitter output.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me Show with your hosts, Matt, Leeroy, Amy, and Olivia. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on all major social media channels at The Dumb Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.
What's going on, everybody? So here's the deal. thedumbshow.com/donate. That's the way to raise some dollars for the show. We do a goal of $300 every night. We want to get to it as fast as possible so we can focus on as many topics as we can. And then also, I need to see the Avalanche go ahead and continue their incredible season thus far, as they are now 13-1-5, one regulation loss. Ridiculous. They had 4 days off and they're still number one in the NHL. That's what they're doing. Good to see. Go Avs. Leeroy is in the house. Leeroy, say hi to everybody. Welcome.
Hi,
welcome,
everybody.
Yeah, good to have you.
Thank you very much. It's good to be here. I was listening to your the speech about the answer to the question about the tariffs, and there was something that I wanted to add to that. A lot of times, the people that tend to be anti-tariff argument might have been okay with the flip side of that policy, and I'm not saying that our listener was. I don't know, but one thing I did want to make clear is that, look, you can have. What is the end result of either policy? If you have tariffs, generally speaking, they will potentially raise the price on the goods, right? Well, when you raise taxes on corporations, when you raise taxes on multi-billionaires or whatever the case is, because you think you're doing the Lord's work, guess what that does? Those people don't pay taxes. It gets brought down into the product that you buy. Corporations don't pay taxes. You pay the taxes when you buy that product. So I just wanted to make sure that everyone was tracking that.
And it's also important to understand, though, is that the corporations can't price themselves out of the market. Look what happened with coffee. Coffee went to $7.49 for a 16-ounce cup of flavored coffee, and Starbucks closed, 1,000 stores? So you have to understand is that this whole thing that tariffs just ultimately increase the price to this exorbitant amount that can never be that is absolutely true with food. Coffee will probably remain expensive for the rest of its days. It won't be $7.49. It'll go down to like $6, but it will never be as low as it was. Food just doesn't go down. Bread doesn't go down. So that is where Trump is going, okay, listen, we did this as a punishment because a lot of exports from countries is food, or at least they subsidize the food that's made here with their byproduct, whether it be wheat or a wheat germ, or, bringing in different types of milks or fruit or whatever it would be. And I mean like goat's milk, and then, soy and almond milk and all these other type of things. You've got multiple imports coming in, and that will increase food prices. So we're going to see that. Now, the only way for that to stop is to control energy cost, because that is the bottom line where food manufacturing gets hit the most in delivery and processing. Energy is absolutely critical. It takes energy to slaughter the animals. It takes energy to process the animals. It takes energy to bag and tag the animals. It takes energy to ship them. It takes energy to cool them. It takes energy to all those things. So, and even to cook them. So you have situations where, if you can drive down energy like Donald Trump is, it will catch up to the market. It's just going to take some time. But he took off the tariffs on the food because most of those countries have went ahead and given him carte blanche and given him the deals that he wants. But he is keeping it on textiles, mercantiles, electronics, and those type of things. And the reason why is because those prices are ebb and flowing off of the market and supply and demand. They are not based on food. Food is always in supply, or it's always in demand. Always. Food is always in demand. the only time you have that is expensive food when there is a lower cost alternative. So, for example, red meat, the reason why it's so expensive right now is because they had 3/4 of all-time record profits in the meat industry. But inflation was where it was at with Biden. They didn't expect an economic recovery. People started buying less, even though their prices were higher. So they went ahead and they didn't have as much cattle. Plus, they killed 100,000 cattle in the United States because of mad cow bullshit. So now you're in a situation where you've created a false demand based upon not having enough product. So this is where the cattle ranchers are pissed off. And honestly, they don't have anything to bitch about. What they should bitch about is yes, they're going to take a small-time hit. Donald Trump is going to subsidize the ranchers. He's going to invest in Venezuelan beef to bring it over here to subsidize the market. But then if ranchers just have the faith and use that subsidy that they're going to get to reinvest into more cows, then they're going to be in a good situation. But truly, this was a gamble. This was a stock market choice by the ranchers, and we had the lowest production yield we pretty much have ever seen based upon the demand in recent memory, 30-year trend or something to that effect. So,
it's interesting you brought up Venezuela. Can I touch on something real quick?
Yeah. Can I just finish that thought real quick?
Yes.
So when you have meat and you have ground beef, the other option is, okay, well, now I can go to a cheaper option. I'm going to go to chickens. Well, the problem is that people did that. And then what happened? Chickens became a shortage because they killed how many hundreds of thousands of them?
Oh, yeah.
So then eggs were a shortage. So the option was pork. So people bought a lot of pork. I mean, in fact, pork made more money in the last, 365 days than the pork industry pretty much ever has. So as long as there's another option, people will downscale into another cheaper meat. This is where you see other prices dropping, but steak and red meat stay high because now the demand, there isn't enough meat. So, of course, the price goes up because they got to make their margin. They're not going to make it on bulk. They're going to make it on overall profit margin. And this is where you get this. So Donald Trump's trying to stimulate this, just like this is why you release oil from the oil reserves into the open market. It stimulates and drives the price down. He's going to bring in Venezuelan beef. Government's going to buy it and saturate the market. And honestly, Venezuelan beef is pretty freaking good. And there it is. That's it. Go ahead, Leeroy.
It's funny you mentioned Venezuela. I went ahead and I had some caloric intake maps of the world, something that I do because I'm a giant nerd and I love watching the CIA portal. The caloric and fertilizer diplomacy in disorder map shows that the U.S. is the #1 supplier of foodstuffs to, guess where, Venezuela. And Venezuela just so happens to import more than 75% of all of the food that they consume. So when we start talking about a potential conflict with Venezuela, need I say more?
Well, and here's the thing is we don't want a conflict because whatever we would save on any type of exports as far as minerals or food or whatever is it's going to cost more to subsidize a war. So what Donald Trump is trying to do is to ensure that the Maduro regime loses power. You put that money into the current state, you create resistance, you give them weaponry, you give them money, you give them the ability to stabilize their government through a $60 billion purchase. Folks, that is smart business. And this is the problem is that people are like, oh my God, he's investing in Venezuela. No, you can't have it both ways. Either you want him to be American first and not go to war, or let them go to war. Let's take over Venezuela. Let's just be Russia. Let's just take over countries. Let's be the Japanese Empire, the English Empire, and just start taking everything over. If that's what you want to do. Or let the man cook. Look at the Guadalcanal.
Right.
Look at the Guadalcanal. Yeah. Yep. Look what he did with the Guadalcanal. He got everything. China can't even use it anymore. So he got exactly what he wanted. You guys are like, well, he threatened war against Guadalcanal. No, he subtly rattled the saber, and it got them to realize that the enemy far away is not worse than the enemy right close. So they're like, we'll choose America. Okay,
well, and they also know, they know that the hand that is feeding them, right, is fairly local. It's not a case of, we're going to do this for China because we want to be buddy. But nobody wants to be buddy with China.
Yeah.
It's just that when we start talking about who the real global economic engine is, I mean, everyone understands that it is in fact us. And there's nothing wrong with leveraging that. Absolutely nothing wrong. If you want to buy into this market so that you can potentially share or sell whatever it is that you make with the American people, maybe there should be a cost for access to that market. And that's
Right.
all Donald Trump has done.
Right. Argentinian beef, excuse me. But you're still putting money into South America, right? Argentinian beef. Venezuela, as far as stimulating and supporting the resistance and being counter counter, I don't know, running I don't even know how to say it. It's not even counterproductive. It's not a counterattack. It's to the Venezuelan government, Maduro regime. It's like, how would you say that? It's not espionage. It's not guerrilla warfare. It's ensuring that an alternate government, which is an open resistance to the Maduro regime, continues to stay strong. That's what it is. Now, that's South America.
It's almost like fiscal asymmetric warfare almost.
There it is.
Yeah.
There it is. There it is. Panama Canal. What's wrong with me? Did I say the Guadalcanal? Listen,
Yeah.
I've been sicker than shit this week. I have been. You just asked Leeroy. I have. Like, if I make it to, I almost didn't make it tonight. So I screwed up on Venezuela and Argentina. How often? I don't do that very often. Then Guadalcanal and Panama Canal. Holy crap. This might be a bad night. So Leeroy, fact check me right away. People keep fact checking me. But my point is that money comes into South America and individual countries. But that's like, if Germany gets money, France and England are going to benefit, right? You're talking about multiple different countries, but will all benefit from this. Okay. Jeez. Can't believe I did that. But I can answer one question, and I know I'm not going to screw this up. So the question was, by Carrie. She says, while you're on the subject, how is it that new jobs are up, but so is unemployment? Okay, I can answer this one. So when jobs are up, right, and unemployment is up at the same time, you've got two hockey sticks. What it means is that more people just re-entered the workforce.
Mm-hmm.
So when they re-enter the workforce, when people who weren't looking start looking again, they get counted as unemployed. So job creation can rise. And then what you see is that unemployment rate bumps up because the labor pool gets bigger. Now, the thing is that most states, not all, unemployment is limited. Some unemployment, you can be on unemployment for 6 months, some is a year, depends. But once you come off unemployment and you don't have a job, you leave the working pool. And that is why unemployment rate and the employment rate and job rate is different. So when you see the job rate, and that's high, which means there's a lot of jobs, but the unemployment is low, it means there's not enough people to work. When you see a high unemployment rate and you see a low jobs rate, there's too many people, but not enough jobs. When you see they're both high, that's because there was just a flux and a change in the market, and that's creating the disparity. I hope that makes sense.
Right. No, you hit it spot on.
Okay. Kat says, hard to buy more cows when there are no cows for sale. Ranchers usually, I know they're going to have to breed them. This is going to be a 5-year to 10-year process. What does it take? 2 to 3 to, it's 2 years, 3 years to get a cow to maturity.
Like that,
yeah. So it's going to take a few years. There's no doubt. I mean, this is a multifaceted problem without a singular solution. But this investment into Argentinian beef is not just buying steaks, but it's also buying cows. We're going to have to. Now, I don't know a lot about ranching. Kat, you probably know more than me, but it's my understanding that once you start selling off your cows and your heifers, you're in a bad spot. And then there are some people who try to sell their bulls in order to make a profit too, and that's no good. In this situation, this is a everybody owns a little bit of this. The U.S. government and Biden, by killing a lot of cattle, that's one. Number two, ranchers made record profits and made the wrong call when it came to the long-term game in ranching and had the lowest yield of productivity. Now, we understand why. Fuel prices were high, inflation was high, getting the money from the banks. I understand this. I'm not blaming the ranchers, but this is their business. Okay? When there's not enough iPhones, nobody blames aluminum. When there's not enough iPhones, nobody blames Taiwanese semiconductor. When there's not enough iPhones, nobody blames Samsung and Sharp displays. Okay? Nobody blames them. They blame Apple. So in this case, because there is not enough yield, you got to blame the ranchers. But there are a lot of mitigating circumstances that made this happen. So we're going to have to work through it. Real quick, ranchers usually hold back heifer calves to replenish their herd, 16 to 18 months to breed, and another 9 months to calve, then 20 to 24 to grow the steer. Takes time to recover. Right, 5 years. That's what I was thinking. So yeah. I'm pretty spot on that. This is going to take 5 years to get out of. So we need to subsidize the cattle right now. That's just what we have to do. And what Donald Trump has to say is he's got to go to these ranchers and he has to propose a long-term piece of legislation to fund them like we did the car companies and like we did the automobile industry and the airlines. Because I'm not for that. Leeroy's not for that. We don't want to subsidize corporations in this country with government money, but you don't have a choice. We're too big not to. We're too big not to. If the airline industries go down and they just drop, forget it. The country's toast.
In a perfect world, I would like to see no subsidies, but I understand that they do need to happen within certain industries. One that I would love for us to see dip out of would be the healthcare industry. I don't think we should have any part in that one whatsoever, but.
Yeah. Well, and then
I digress.
We've got drought. I mean, there's a lot of things that took place. And then the wheat yields were not strong in the United States. We import a lot of wheat, folks. We really do. What happened to Ukraine and Russia? Leeroy and I have been telling you this for 3 years, start of the Ukraine war, that wheat yields all over the world, we're going to be feeling it. And we would feel some pain points. And ag would take a huge hit on this, and they have. So,
it used to be that the U.S. supplied roughly 14.4% of global wheat. Guess who the number one supplier is?
Russia.
And
who's number two?
Right? So it was like Russia, Ukraine.
Yeah.
Behind them, that's where we fell. We were the third largest supplier of wheat, and we have run into some issues. Fortunately, we have Canada, but.
Well, not with those tariffs. So that's the problem is that Canada wanted to go ahead and play roughshod and decided to go ahead and stand up to Donald Trump and try to be the one person who could stand up to Trump. And look how that went. So we told you Ukraine was the number 2 producer. Russia was number 1. United States number 3. And when all three have a low yield, and specifically we all did, 2 of them were because of open conflict, and 3 was because of drought and obviously fertilizer and the productivity that we did have. This is causing problems. So we'll get out of it as long as we vote for J.D. Vance in 2028. Because the moment that you get rid of them, they're going to absolutely leave the ranchers behind. Democrats don't care about the ranchers. They don't care about ag. They don't care about farmers. They use them to go ahead and throw them against Trump, but they don't give a crap about them. They don't care anything about them. Say we hunt buffalo. Yeah, well, we already did that. So there's not enough of those either. But that's it. That's my personal opinion on the whole thing. Okay, folks. So FYI, I will do my best tonight. I'm sorry. I do feel horrible. I've already made 2 mistakes, and I usually don't do that, but it helped me with the Freudian slips. If you hear me call it out and I miss it, please let me know. I'd appreciate it. So you had something come across your desk today that was really interesting. By the way, folks, if you haven't had a chance, please go to thedumbshow.com/donate, and we would love to get that done early so we're not talking about it. Great to see so many people on Twitter. Facebook actually looks decent. Please share, like, and subscribe. Hit the like button. It would mean a great deal. I'm going to put up a screenshot. You want me to put up the text, or do you want me to put up the video you sent? Which one?
The video. The video is pretty
first?
terrifying. Yeah.
All right, so let's do this, and then I'm going to show the text. Don't talk on it yet, because I want to show this. You know what I'm saying? And I want to show the text too, because they both play. Oh, this is stupid. I gotta go into YouTube.
I'm Senator Alyssa.
All right. It's amazing. Like, if it was 5 years ago, that would have like stopped me for like 30 minutes. I'd be like, what's going on? How do I do this? Luckily, I've seen everything now. All right, here it is.
Slotkin.
Senator Mark Kelly.
Representative Chris Deluzio.
Congresswoman Maggie Goodlander.
Representative Chrissy Houlihan.
Congressman Jason Crow. I was a captain in the United States Navy.
Former CIA officer.
Former Navy.
Former paratrooper and Army Ranger.
Former intelligence officer.
Former Air Force.
We want to speak directly to members of the military
And the intelligence community.
who take risks each day.
To keep Americans safe.
We know you are under enormous stress and pressure right now.
Americans trust their military.
But that trust is at risk.
This administration is pitting our uniformed military
And intelligence community professionals.
against American citizens. Like us, you all swore an oath.
To protect and defend this Constitution.
And right now, the threats to our Constitution aren't just coming from abroad.
But from right here at home. Our laws are clear. You can refuse illegal orders.
You can refuse illegal orders.
You must refuse illegal orders.
No one has to carry out orders that violate the law.
Or our Constitution.
We know this is hard and that it's a difficult time to be a public servant.
But whether you're serving in the CIA,
In the Army,
Our Navy,
The Air Force.
your vigilance is critical
and know that we have your back.
because now, more than ever,
The American people need you.
We need you to stand up for our laws.
our Constitution,
and who we are as Americans. Don't give up.
don't give up.
Don't give up.
Don't give up the ship.
I know.
Yeah, I know you got some things to say about that, and you're gonna have all the time. I have "Don't Give Up the Ship" emblazoned behind me here, and that's not the way you use that. I'll take this, and you're gonna take it back real quick. I want to thank Melanie Marino, made this wonderful thing and had it sent to us, and it's all made out of wood, and it says "Our Family." It has a right when you walk in the door, it's on a table lit up by the lamp, and it's got all of our names on it in hearts coming from. It is absolutely awesome. Wanted to say thank you so much, Melanie, for this. And it is right when you walk in the house, you see it, and it's right with all of our pictures and everything else that says the Spear family. So we appreciate you. Don't drop, okay? So thank you so much, Melanie, for that. That means the world. Okay, so there's that. Now let's get to the text, which is pretty interesting too. Do you want to read this?
No, I mean, when I sent that link to you, it was early in this morning, and I couldn't get the text to go away. I actually just wanted to examine the video.
But this is okay. So this is, but this text is this the words for what they just said on YouTube, basically?
I assume that's what that is.
Yeah, because it seems to be a little bit more verbose. We want to speak directly to the members of the military and the intelligence, the IC, who take risk each day to keep Americans safe. We know you are under enormous stress and pressure right now. Americans trust their military, but that trust is at risk. This administration is pitting our uninformed military and intelligence community professionals against American citizens like us. You all swore an oath to protect and defend the Constitution. Right now, the threats to our Constitution aren't just coming from abroad. Have some right here at home. Our laws are clear. You can refuse illegal orders. You can refuse illegal orders. Okay. Go ahead, man, because I've got a dissertation on this.
Oh my God, right? I mean, we could examine that video, all 3.5 minutes of it, and unveil the hypocrisies that come from that, over the next 2 days, and it wouldn't be enough. But the big thing was that it was pretty unnerving that a bunch of former military folk who now work in the media, who now work in various political positions, would throw back at the military and say, hey, if you think this is illegal, you don't have to do it. Now, I struggled with what exactly they were talking about. Like, give me a specific example. What in your eyes has been illegal so far that should have been pushed back on, for one? And two, like, to what level are we willing to accept hypocrisy? And when I say hypocrisy, I'm talking about not only did they not give any examples of the illegal orders that have been presented, but they themselves at various points have all been like, are you trying to tell current military and intel folk that we should re-examine what it is that we do? Are you trying to say that because you don't like the administration, that there should be some level of, I don't know, mutiny? Just because you happen to disagree with policies? Because I haven't heard any illegal orders that have come down yet. And there have been blatant violations of politicians throughout the military for the First and Second Amendments. They tried to kick people out who refused to get a vaccine. And when you're talking about, oh, you've got our back. Oh, okay. Well, when the government shut down and a lot of the military had to go without pay, it was pretty obvious what the voting record was to suggest that it was 6 or 8 Democrats who were holding up the entire process over, and you got nothing in return, by the way. I had posted that a month back that if the bill that eventually got passed reopens the government with no changes, then what was the purpose of the shutdown? Just from the Democrat point of view. So while they had the government shut down, and it was purely a Democrat shutdown, you literally let military families go without pay, and you're trying to tell us that you have our back. Make that make sense. I was so disgusted by that message.
I have no idea what you just said, because literally within minutes, we just hit goal with an anonymous donation of $300. So whoever you are, thank you so much for that. And God bless you for doing that. That means the world,
thank
folks.
You so much.
That means we should be able to make up some ground tonight, because we missed a day, as we know, last week. So if you guys still plan, I mean, we can nickel and dime it. I don't care, but let's keep driving it. We really appreciate it. What's up?
Thank you so much to whoever that anonymous donor was.
Yeah, thank you. It means the world to us. Thank you. Okay, so I've got some things about this. I'm going to show you a video that I've dug up, and that is Martha McCallum, who I just smoking. And I want you to listen to this, because this pisses me off. There is nothing worse than a politician who's talking about the military when they have no idea what the hell they're talking about.
Right.
Because they haven't served. The Military Code of Justice, the UCMJ, is very, very clear. We call it the UCMJ. Every other branch does, but Marines call it the Rocks and Shoals. Doesn't matter. There's basic rules for United States Navy, Army, Air Force, Coast Guard. Marines have expanded rules that they follow, but everyone has a code of conduct. And
God bless you.
Thank you. The UCMJ is very, very clear in this situation. Now, single-handedly, the first thing that you learn when you join the military is you learn your chain of command. And that the chain of command is single-handedly the end-all, be-all to every single question that you may have in the military. If you don't know the question, follow the chain of command. And that is going to be your peers. It's going to be your supervisor. It's going to be your command or your group petty officer or your senior petty officer. From there, it might go to your IS-1 who is in charge, or your Gold Watch, Blue Watch leader, or whatever compartment you're working in. It would go to your chief. If it is escalated out of the NCO ranks. So you have went through the basic enlisted ranks through E6. to have things addressed. Thank you so much, Joseph Hillstrom. Keep up the great analysis, Matthew and Leeroy. Thank you, Joe. Chief would not be approached by ISSN. That's not what happens. It would go through E6 or E5, whoever's in that supervisor position, and would approach the chief.
Your LPO.
Yeah, your LPO. You don't do that. It stops there. And on some commands, in some ships, you don't even get to talk to to IS-1. From there, it'll work its way through command. But there is a chain of command that you follow, and if you move outside of that, that is not a good thing for your career, and it follows you around. Now, you'll sometimes hear one of your superiors say to you, well, did you follow the chain of command? And that question is because I've done it too. And you didn't. And if you hear that more than twice, you're gonna have something that follows you around in regards to your sit rep. And and every command you go to will that you like to go outside the chain of command. And that is basically a person who runs to HR. You're just an annoying son of a bitch, and you don't know how to follow basic rules. The second thing that is ingrained in you outside of the chain of command is that you follow your standing orders, and you follow the orders of your superior officers and enlisted. It is not your job to add your opinion to the orders you receive. Your job is to fulfill the order that is asked of you. And as long as it was a command, you're not going to be held accountable unless it specifically states it in the UCMJ of what is a non-lawful command.
Correct.
Which your command will very clearly explain to you the moment you put on the command cap or your fore and aft cap or whatever it may be, and you walk in to your new command. You will understand what's legal, what's not legal. You will have a briefing, and these briefings are extremely long. If you're out of country or you're on a fob, whatever, you will get a command briefing on the towns, the women, the venereal diseases, the economy, spiritually, what type of religions, if there's civil war, you'll get it all. And the answer is not, sir, that's an unlawful order. That's not your job. You're not going to tell a chief or a master chief or the captain or the lieutenant JG or the junior officer or senior officer, that's an unlawful order, sir. I'm not going to do it, because you're not going to be getting it from them, because they're not going to talk to your low-ass rank. You're going to get it passed down the chain of command. And more than likely, you're not going to be addressed in a one-on-one situation. This is going to be in a squad or a group, and you're going to have your buddies sitting around you, and you're going to get your orders. You're going to get this. But this isn't like Crimson Tide. This isn't U571.
Right.
It's not like it's like, oh, geez, man, what's the skipper doing tonight? I can't believe we got to go ahead and mop the bulkhead. That shit is not the way it is in the Navy. You have a job. You know what your job is. You do that job until that job is done. Then you hit your rack, you go to bed, and then you wake up the next morning, do the same thing, and make sure that all your P's and Q's are in line. Now that we've established that, let's watch this, and then we can talk about this some more, because this got me hot.
We're seeing, actually, is recruitment rising to join the military under the president.
Here's an interesting fact for you, Martha. Our men and women actually are very smart, very incredible men and women in our military. And
you don't
a
have
recent
to tell
survey,
me that.
Well, apparently I do.
No,
a
you
recent
don't,
survey
sir. I have great respect for the United States military.
Well, you don't think they can handle a reminder about federal law and the UCMJ, is what I'm hearing. And a recent survey showed that 8 out of 10 service members deeply understand their obligation of lawful orders, right? 8 out of 10. So we want to get that. That should be 10 out of 10. But this is something
you're not going to get. You're not going to get that. You're not going to get that. A boatswain's mate is not going to understand the finer points of command. That's not their job. Their job is to paint the bulkhead. Their job is to go ahead and wax the floor. Their job is to do the shit things that nobody else wants to do. And they have to follow orders. They don't need to understand the command of lawful orders and not. Because them saying, clean out that sewage drain, no matter how many times you do it, it is not going to be something that's outside of a lawful order. Now, if he says, take that plumber's wrench and go kill this other sailor, that is a completely different situation. And everybody should know at the age of adulthood, the difference between right and wrong. And you're not, real with the last one, you're not going to get, Bubba said it best. Here it is. Bubba says, and this is perfect. By the time it makes it to your dumbass, if it was a bad idea, someone would have figured it out long before your dumbass and it got to you. Now, that doesn't mean command doesn't make a mistake and we all don't sit around and go, what a bunch of freaking idiots. Because it happens. But that's usually peers. E5's talking. E6 is talking. What you don't see is an E6 going to dress down command in front of an E1, 2, or 3, or 4. You're not going to see it. You're just not going to see it. And if you do, that person's going to lose their supervisor responsibilities pretty damn quick because command is going to get sick and tired of that person badmouthing every decision they make. And in the scuttlebutt, it's going to get up to them because sailors love to talk. And sailors love to backdoor you and break the chain of command and go to the E6 or go to the LPO and say, hey, look who was talking about us in berthing 3 hours ago. This is the politics of the military. Go ahead, Leeroy.
So that gentleman that was just on TV, his last name was it Cook?
Jason Crow, and we're going to show more of him.
Jason Crow.
Yeah.
Jason Crow, who, as I was reading his label, said that he was a former Army Ranger. So good on him.
I thought he was in the Air Force.
I thought it said Army Ranger on that. Oh
no!
Tab.
Oh no! Crow, former Army Ranger. Yes.
Crow.
Yes.
Yeah,
correct.
So the fact that he should understand that more than likely, when he was saying, "Oh no, it should be 10 out of 10 people who understand this," your dumbass should have known better to understand that those other 2 out of 10 sailors, soldiers, airmen, whatever, that 20% from the military who are claiming that are likely lost in some level of ambiguity within their orders or, right, they're so low down on the totem pole or don't have jobs that are directly related to warfare. These are going to be the shopkeepers. These are going to be the people who are maintaining diesel engines. That person doesn't necessarily need to know, right, what
rules
the
of
proper
engagement
kill chain is.
Right. ROE.
Right. They don't need to know what the correct procedures are when firing off a nuke. No, that person's job is to maintain a diesel engine. Leave them alone.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
So when he's saying, "Oh, it should be 10 out of," yeah, you're right. It should be, but you also don't have. If you had 80% of the military, you understand that. Guess what the percentage of the military that actually engage in battle, that actually make life or death decisions, and that actually plan operations or execute them. It's a very small percentage. Yeah. So when you're talking about 80%, that vastly overshadows any numbskulls within the military who would have given an answer like that.
Correct. So, and by the way, former Army Ranger, I'm sorry. That's a very broad term. I've known a lot of Rangers. And there's a reason I've known a lot of Rangers. It's because there's a lot of Rangers.
Not that hard. Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. Okay. So here we go. Let's go into this. I respect everybody who joins the military, but this guy, listen to this. This is just the way he treats Martha McCallum. It's like, bro, are you sure you weren't a part of Tailhook? I mean, he treats her like dog shit. How can you treat a woman who looks like that, who gets better with age? Seriously. You could be a cook and get a slot to Ranger School. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's correct, Bubba. I know.
Wait. You know those guys who the FNG Academy?
Yeah.
And okay, the guy who's all tatted up, who was the former cop.
Yeah.
He was a former Ranger.
Right.
Eventually found his way into Green Beret, but that was his job. He was a cook.
Yeah. Listen, there's nothing wrong with Ranger tabbing. I mean, listen, it's not cakewalk. It's difficult, but any Marine will tell you that getting Ranger qualification is, they basically say, well, you might as well go through the crucible. Because Marines go through a very heavy, their basic is intense. And I'm not saying Army isn't intense. I'm just saying it's not the Marine Corps. And getting Ranger tabbed is not the most challenging thing in the world. A lot of Rangers exist, and that's great.
Yeah.
Now, you want to get into Green Beret, Special Forces, and stuff like that? Okay, now we're talking. You want to get into the teams? You want to get into Delta? Yeah, okay, completely different conversation.
There's a lot of alpha-type personalities in those fields.
Nothing wrong with being a Ranger. I'm not disrespecting them. I'm just saying. Here's the rest.
Oh, I adore Rangers.
Well,
go and look at the training. Maybe even go and participate or observe some of the training that our men and women go through. It is incredible. We expect a lot of these men and women. They go through very intense, rigorous training because they're put in intense, rigorous positions. And frankly, I bristle at the notion that they can't handle a suggestion or a reminder of what the law requires them to do and what the Constitution requires them to do. You actually disparage them when you say that a simple reminder.
Listen, you little pimple
do
face.
Any such thing.
You pimple face little dick cake eater. I guarantee he was an officer. Listen, fucker. Let me explain something to you. It's not a politician's job. I don't care. You served. You're done. You're out. It's not your job. Command will decide when they need to go ahead and refresh any DOT training. That's their job. It's not your job. You don't run the military. You're a politician. You have absolutely no authority over the United States military in any way, shape, or form. That's SecDef. That's POTUS. That's the Joint Chiefs. It has nothing to do with you. You insult them by assuming that they would not follow the Constitution of the United States and their oath to protect it against all enemies, foreign and domestic. You're the one that's insulting, you little.
This is the same type of person who would leverage this completely for political reasons to sit down a handful of Marines in a room, right? Not actually hand them the UCMJ and say, all right, well, what's the third article? And if you don't know it, we're going to use that against you. We're going to use that for media political bias. We're going to use this. What is it? Go.
It's
right?
not
when they can't answer it, then these people turn into cannon fodder. This is the kind of dirtbag who would do that.
This is not Martha McCallum's issue. It's his.
Right.
You're the one that feels that the United States military is lacking in their understanding of what their job is, which means that you have no faith in command. So you are saying that the soldiers, that the airmen, the Coast Guardsmen, the sailors, Marines are incapable of understanding what their job and role is because command has failed them. For you to sit here and say, oh, it's insulting that you think it's a big deal to remind them about the UCMJ. That's not your job. That's like you going in and talking about burn bag regulations in a skiff. You got no fucking business doing that. And you certainly aren't going to go tell a Marine how to field strip their rifle. It's not your job. It's not what you do. You're not going to go talk to AIC and tell them how to go ahead and land a plane. When politicians get involved in the military, this is how we get things like Vietnam. Here's the rest of this.
I get it.
No, I'm so pissed. I'm so pissed.
Sir.
That a simple reminder is something they cannot handle.
You're wrong. You're 100% wrong.
Get her, Martha.
I didn't disparage them in any way. In fact, I give them enormous credit.
Take your head out of your ass.
You don't think they can handle reminders about their legal obligations?
I think they perhaps.
This guy is a cake eater. I guarantee he's a fucking officer. I guarantee he was 4 and done. He did his 8. Officer, you know what? Let's research it. I think he did his 8, and I think he poofed. He wanted to check it on his resume. You think 6?
Yeah.
You think even with reserve he was an 8? Let's find out. Yeah, here, let's watch the rest and we'll find out. This little pipsqueak.
If it was specific
I'm a ranger.
and they could figure out what order you're referring to, I have the most deep respect for everyone who serves in the military, including you, sir, for the sacrifice that you made. I did not make that sacrifice myself. So I put everyone who makes that sacrifice in a very special place in my heart. And I believe they're there to serve the country. So you have put out this video. It's getting a lot of attention. I thank you for joining me to talk about it. And I think, people can look at it and take away from it what they want. I just wanted to give you an opportunity to be specific about what illegal actions you were referring.
Listen, you told a Christian conservative woman, and you're a military man, that she broke some code of conduct that civilians have towards military people. How fucking dare you, bro?
Right.
If I was in the same room with you, I'd knock your dick in the dirt. You're the type of guy that the squad freaking literally, when you go into conflict and you run behind a tree and hide, that they would plug in Vietnam because you literally would get people killed because you were a failure as an officer, a chicken shit coward. This is who this guy is. You're picking on a woman. What did she do wrong? Her job is to question you. And you could tell her she was thrown off, man. She's like, almost like she's ready to cry. And I get it, because she's a civilian and you just told her. It's like saying stolen valor to a vet, to say that she's not appreciative and caring of veterans and she's insulting veterans. What a shitty thing to say to her when that's not what she did. Go ahead, Leeroy.
Captain Sobel here, and is in the know. What he has effectively done is, when he was asked a question that he couldn't answer, he started to try and roll it back on her. He got her uncomfortable and shaken up enough that she couldn't follow through with it. Like, she tried to defend herself and he just kept going in and going in and going in. Why? Because he couldn't answer the question, right? There have been no illegal orders that anybody has been made aware of, right? And so when she asked him that, what are one of the orders that have been issued that are illegal, right?
Well,
and
we have that video.
That was when he went into disparaging, right? He's like, how dare you disparage the troops? Good Lord.
Listen to this. Jason Crow served in the U.S. Army from 2002 to 2006, attaining the rank of captain and serving with the 82nd Airborne Division in the 75th Ranger Regiment. 4 years, bro. 4 years. So daddy knew you. You had college. You came in as what? He came in as a what? Second lieutenant?
He probably came in as an 01. If he left in 4 years as a captain, that's only an 03.
I know. But the point is, he didn't come in as an 01. He came in as an 02. This guy doesn't strike me as a guy that makes captain in 4 years, does it?
No.
I mean, this guy seems like just a cake eater. Like, and here's the thing. If you're an officer and you come in for 4 years, you're just doing the resume hunting. That's all you're doing. You're useless as a tits on a boar. Yeah, he came in as a second lieutenant, right? So he was a first lieutenant, I guarantee, when he came in. Okay. I'm going to find out. I bet you he got his college put him in. What rank did he come in at? And I guarantee he had enough schooling where they put him in as a first lieutenant. Yeah, no, 2. Hold on, I'm going to find this out.
4 years, man. I gave him a little bit of grace with 6. Here, he wasn't even in for that.
Yeah, he came in as a second lieutenant. He came as an 01, so he made captain in 4 years. That's not.
Kudos to him for signing up, or at least having enough sack to sign his name on the line. But here's the thing: you don't get to disparage major hitters like that over 4 years. You know, it's not like you ran any battles. It's not like you charged up any hills or captured a machine gun nest.
Here's listen. He served. I agree with you, but there's people who serve And then there's people who serve in order to go ahead and wear their service on their sleeve. Okay. Listen, we wear the red, white, and blue. I've got tattoos. It's a military set. But what I don't do is I don't degrade other people because they don't serve. You know what I mean?
Correct.
But this guy seems like a ring knocker. But if he was a ring knocker, he'd have to give 8. Patricia Good donated $26.25. Thank you, Patricia. Puts us at 347.
Thank you so much, Patricia.
Melissa Tittle says, I don't remember any junior officers worth their weight. NCOs, I don't know. Lieutenant J.G. Corey was pretty damn good. He was an intel guy who he was good, but he came from Fleet. So he was a Mustang. That's why he was good, because he was enlisted.
Why.
Yeah, because he's a Mustang. He was good. He was
all the
solid.
best officers start off as enlisted.
Yep, and our warrants were always good too, because once again they came from the ranks. So
except for Paul Rivera. Apparently, Paul Rivera came in as butter bars. If you did, Paul,
I think he's saying Crow was butter bars. So here's the video that Martha McCallum fights back.
What law are you talking about that's being broken? And then you said that he's implying that they wouldn't want to uphold or follow through with in the future.
Mr. Holliday, $83.90, Thrive and Overdrive. Thank you, Maddie. Huge number.
Thank you, Mr. Hollandaise. You are the man.
Thank you, guys and girls.
Sure. What are you talking about specifically?
Yeah, I appreciate you asking. Well, number one, the protests at Lafayette Square in the first Trump administration, where he said, can't you just shoot them? Can't you just shoot them in the...
That's not an unlawful order. That's a question.
...legs or something? That's his direct quote. And of course, the then chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff...
That was not a military...
Get him, Martha. Right. That's not an order. That's a question.
Order. That was a comment.
I would rather have him ask the question than literally grab a rifle and just plug somebody in the leg.
When that's coming from the president of the United States to your generals, don't you think that's a request?
I'm asking specifically right now
number two,
what you're talking about.
Yeah, number two, he's also threatened to send the military into Chicago and other cities to, quote, go to war with those cities.
It's not an order. It's not an order. Threatening and leveraging the United States military is his position as the commander-in-chief.
Right.
And he can threaten the military all he wants, but that's not a standing order. He didn't tell anyone what to do. So what she should have said is, please tell me in what part of the Uniform Code of Military Justice would...
Correct.
On what order would that fall under?
If the only order that this guy has actually quoted with any sort of accuracy so far, if the only order was, I might send military troops to this chunk of U.S. real estate.
Yeah, but that's
it.
But
that's not an unlawful order.
It's not.
That sounds more like sounds more like training. And for the other thing, if somebody's asking a clarifying question, that's because he trusts his generals enough to have the knowledge to answer the question. Can we shoot these guys? That's a legal question that the generals are going to have the answer for.
I'm glad he asked it.
Exactly. That's just Trump being diligent in his responsibilities. Yeah. Good on him for doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. Lieutenant Dan, this guy is not. So just by the look at him, listen, I've met some very hard chargers. I can show you a guy with salad across his chest who has 2 Congressional Medal of Honors, and he looks like a dentist. Okay. It's not about the look. It's the eyes. This guy, he looks like a chicken shit cake eater. This is a guy that instead of having the moxie to go ahead and address something straight on, that he would backdoor people. He would give them shitty evals to get rid of the problem. This is just the type of guy who's a paper pusher. Here's the rest. That's my gut. And if he wants to call in, you can do it. But by the way you're treating this woman, it's obvious that you have a small dick disease. You have a small peen. You have a Napoleon's complex. You look short too. I'm not trying to make fun of the guy. I'm just telling you, I've seen every type of leader in the military. So is Leeroy. And he knows what I'm talking about.
I do.
Right. That is a very...
You can always pick out the ones that are super obnoxious and super nitpicky.
Yes.
The ones that are constantly looking for any reason to go head to head with somebody when they don't know the first damn thing about what they're supposed to be doing in the in the first place.
This is a guy that would bring in a clipboard during barracks inspection. I'm just letting you know. Yeah. He would hand out and revoke leave with a clipboard in his hand. Well, you just lost your
1000%.
weekend liberty. And you're just like, fuck you, sir.
Disturbing thing. Number 3, he's also alluded to sending troops to polling stations, which is actually a violation of U.S. law. U.S. criminal law prohibits troops from going to polling stations.
That's not an illegal order. He didn't order anyone to do those things. So you're saying, what if my grandmother had balls? She would then be your grandfather. There's a whole lot of what ifs there. There's no order. And for you to, okay, Donald Trump says, send in a battalion of whatever you want. Pick it. I don't care. The Ranger Battalion, 75th Ranger Battalion. Okay. Those troops aren't going to be making the decision to push back against Trump's order.
Where's he from?
He's from Colorado. He's a dickweed from Colorado. He ruined my state. But you understand that it's not going to be Private Owens to make this decision? Private Owens goes, wait a second, Donald Trump wants us to do what? Hey guys, this is against the UCMJ in Article 62-7, paragraph 3. We have to rise up. And they're like, oh my God, Private Owens. We didn't think of that. Thank you so much. Get this man a star. Meritoriously advanced right now. Command. Let's make him a brigadier general. It's how it's going to happen. The chiefs of staff are going to go ahead, or the Joint Chiefs are going to make this decision long before it even leaves the Oval Office.
Corporal Hicks is next in command.
Right.
And this is under military jurisdiction, right?
Right.
So let me tell you, that's never going to happen.
Never. You know, they say, you know, when the sergeant gets killed, it goes to the corporal. Corporal, what do you do?
Right.
Okay, that's in battle. Okay.
Pretty far fetched too.
But you're not going
to. Yes, but
right. You should know your job, right? Because now when someone gets hit, it's not one guy; it's a chopper that goes down, and the entire squad gets taken out. Now, but the point is you should know the job of the man above you and underneath you. Yeah, of course, all those things are true. But nobody is going to go ahead and Private Snowball, get over here. What do we, dude? We're cut off. They're doing a left flanking maneuver. Give me an order, sir. Give me an order, man.
I don't know what to do.
General Flatjacket's on the phone. Give me Private Snowball. Sir, Private Snowball, sir. Thank God. We didn't know if we were going to be able to get a hold of you, Private Snowball. I'm here, sir. Let me ask you a question. Where did you do basic? I haven't done basic yet, sir.
Right.
I'm in MEPS. I haven't shipped yet. That's okay. We know
but
you're going to.
Army Ranger. I know Army Raging Crow. Is that enough?
That's right. Army Ranger Crow signed my baseball card when I was 6, sir. Thank God.
Thank God we're saved.
Thank God. Thank God. I'm cutting your orders right now. Whatever you need. I'm sending you SEAL Team 13 right now. SEAL Team 13's on the way. You get squatted up, dressed up, and get ready to go. You're going out, son. You're going out. I need you to lead. You're the SEAL Team commander for SEAL Team 13. Thank you, sir. I was born for this. Thank God, Private Snowball. Thank God. Give me a break.
And he's alluded to that. So those are just one of many examples.
You're talking about
Trump
illusions. You're not
recently
talking about actual policy. You're not talking about things that our members of our service members who we revere and respect are actually being asked to do. So when you see this video on all over the place, when you see this video on social media, I think a lot of people scratch their heads and they say, what exactly are they talking about? Are they talking about not allowing gunboats to make it to the United States carrying drugs? Is that what you're talking about?
Martha, here's a novel idea. How about we actually prevent things from happening before they become a problem?
I think that's what they're trying to do.
What you're saying is we have to wait until there's a problem to respond to that problem.
No, I'm not.
No,
As a military officer, what I think is important is we train people. We give them information.
Okay, this guy.
You mean like border control, sir?
Listen, there is a wonderful term that is in barracks talk between enlisted. And I'm going to bring it back because I know it's not talked about anymore. This guy is a dingleberry. Lieutenant Dingleberry. Snowball. It's the general again. General, sir, I'm on a flight, sir. They just picked me up by grapple hook. They put a 50-yard line on of paracord, and I snapped on, and I'm climbing up to an EC-130, sir. It's a little loud. Can you talk, sir? Yes, Private Snowball. Do you have any special training? No, but I watched MacGyver. I've got duct tape and a Swiss Army knife. That'll do, son. That'll do. You stay frosty out there, Private Snowball. Sir, yes, sir.
Swivel.
Head on a swivel.
Keep your head on a swivel, son.
You make sure you have a 360-degree rotator going on all day, son. You watch it all the time.
I'm going to send you a Senate Medal of Honor. That's above a congressional.
Presidential Medal of Freedom incoming. They're going to have to pin medals on your belt buckle, son, when we're done with this. Oh, my God. He's gay? Go figure. Go figure. Crow is gay.
Is he really?
Yeah. All right, boys. We're going to go ahead and do some cleanup here. Here's your pink feather duster. I'm a ranger. Woo! I like to jump out of planes and push the guy in front of me. Here, you do me now. What a douche.
I don't know if he's gay, but I do care that he
Yes, I do. I
don't give a shit. But I do care that he is implying that the Fox interviewer was in some way, shape, or form like disrespectful to the military. Joanne Townsend donated $10, says, "Thank you, Matt and Leeroy. Joanne, you are the best. Thank you so much."
Yes. I care that he's gay. I care that he's gay. And I'll tell you why. And I'll tell you why. It has nothing to do with his sexual preference. It has to do with the femininity. That guy does not belong in a military uniform. I don't want people like that in our military. I want people who are strong. I want people who are opinionated, who treat women with respect, who love the Constitution, who love God. I want people who believe in what they're doing and they're not a bunch of chicken shit people. I don't want an effeminate male. I'm sorry. I just don't. Just like I don't want transgenders in there either. Mm-hmm. There is a certain type of person that belongs in the military. And I'm not saying all gay people are like that. I've known, listen, you and I both, bro, we're in the Navy. We know plenty of gay guys who go in there and do their job and they do it right. And what they don't do is, good morning, sailors, because that guy, he reminds me of that. And I don't want that guy. So maybe it doesn't have anything to do with he's gay. It has to do with his effeminate qualities. I guarantee that guy gets a manicure. Did you see his beard? Seriously, one hair's out of place and the guy flips out, okay? Mel, what do you want to talk about, sister?
Well, because Hakeem Jeffries is now called the U.S. Capitol Police and whatnot to start an investigation on Trump, whatever, for threatening, and he wants to protect these 6 idiots. Yeah. So where is that going to go? This is now to deflect now because the Epstein thing is failing on them. So this is the new whatever. Like that whole interview, I give Martha kudos. She should have just told him to F off and grow a pair, which he doesn't have because he never had them in the first place. And how he became a ranger, well, I guess it was bought and paid for. So
it just makes me, as an officer, if you have to start off with as an officer, you're done. You're done. The best
lost respect for you.
Yeah, the best officers, the best chiefs.
You just said you're an army soldier.
That's right. You know, as a veteran, as a leader of men, most officers do not try to set themselves apart from their men, right? They're an extension of them. And they represent them to command. That's their job. It's the ones that think that they're your personal slaves, and it's your job to control them and develop them into some sort of war fighting machine. That's not your job as an officer. Your officer is to command your troops, to be lethal and effective in the field of battle, or support those that do. That's your job as an officer. Okay. So it's not that hard. Melanie Marino, $10.80. Never wanted to double knuckle a person in the throat so bad as he. Oh, you and me both. Go ahead, Mel.
The other point was, so when is somebody going to ask Slotkin? Was she in the CIA when Obama ordered the drone strikes that killed the U.S. citizen and his son?
Right.
Good
Oh,
point.
dude, like this whole thing.
And Mark Kelly, well, he's just,
Mark Kelly's a twat. I'm sorry. I'm an astronaut.
Go back to space.
Yeah.
Go back to space. Put your suit on and have another suck of oxygen or whatever it is that you were doing up there, because obviously your head is screwed. There's
two different types of military people. Okay. There's the people who serve because of a lack of option, who want more options. And then there's people who serve who had plenty of options, but couldn't cut it. So they went ahead and went in the military instead. I truly believe there are only two types of people who join the military, and those are them. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Maybe Leeroy disagrees. But that's what I've summed up about the military. And most of those people, NCOs, are the first. And the latter are most officers. Very rarely have I met an officer that was effective in the military who went out in the corporate world and could lead people. In fact, most of them were NCOs. I was an NCO. I was extremely effective at leadership, but and you know what? This is an interesting thing. Out of all my time, most of the we're talking Navy captain, and we're talking lieutenant colonel, and even higher than lieutenant colonel, were CEOs, CFOs, presidents, vice presidents. But the field leadership it was never officers. It was always NCOs, and that's district manager, area manager, vice president, regional vice presidents. They were all NCOs.
Well, there's a reason, though. I mean, the basic military structure is set up so that basically it's the enlisted folks. It's the E7s who take care of the people.
Right.
E7 through E9. They take care of the soldiers and the sailors and the airmen, while the officers, once they get into anything above like an 03, then their job goal shifts from focus on people, focus on the soldiers, to now it's mission oriented.
Right.
What is it that we need in order to accomplish this mission? But basically, they rely heavily on NCOs to take care of the people. We take care of the people. You take care of the mission.
No, I understand. But what I'm saying is that the officers that did go in and weren't given a CEO position or a CFO position failed miserably at all other field positions. They were horrible. Like every single one failed, because an officer gives a command and you follow it because it's an officer most times. A master chief gives it because you respect and adore the master chief, and master chief is a fearful thing. And there's a high level of respect for him. Now, officers can earn that respect over time, and they're a stand-up person and not a chicken shit. But my point is if you see a master chief, in my opinion, a master chief is a hell of a lot more intimidating, and I immediately slap respect on a master chief than I would on a junior grade officer. And there's just no comparison at all. Yeah, go ahead, Mel.
No, 100%. But I don't know if you have the same thing down there, but we have what we call CFR, commissioning from the ranks. And the ones that commission from the ranks have turned out to be, well, as we all knew, they were the 99% outstanding officers, because they knew what it was to be in the basement.
Yep.
They knew what it was to be as a senior NCO.
Right.
And then they CFR'd and they become an officer, and they took all that knowledge and took it and ran with it, and they became the best as officers ever.
Yep.
The ones that come in the door from the colleges or whatever and get an automatic rank, whatever, because, well, you have this degree, so now you're this rank or whatever. And you're like, and now you're running the boat. We're like, oh, you better go talk to somebody else, because there's a whole bunch of people, and if you don't talk to your senior NCOs, you're automatically screwed.
And the
if you
command
don't
master
rely
chief
on
pulls
them,
that little shit aside about 72 hours into the first time you're out to sea, because that little shit is coming in from the academy, or he's coming in from OCS, and the command master chief grabs him and goes, "Listen, let's have a talk."
yes, but a lot of them don't get that one-on-one a lot of the time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Robert Stubblefield,
So-
1099. Go ahead, Mel.
Yeah. No, a lot of them don't get that one-on-one. I find it more on the ships than
Oh yeah, on the fleet. Fleet's different. Yes.
fleet's different.
But
Army,
stateside
I
is chicken
have-
shit, Mel. Stateside is chicken shit. It's always
It is.
it's always been chicken shit. I mean, in the U.S. Navy, and I'm assuming it's the same with you. The fleet is a completely different animal. We don't pull this shit in the fleet. A Lieutenant JG comes in there and starts checking people's haircuts and, checking their 5 o'clock shadow at 10 o'clock in the morning. Those people don't last in the fleet.
No, they don't.
They don't like chicken shits. Mel, wrap us up so we can move on to a couple of other topics. What else did we miss?
No, I just wanted to just make a comment about Sutton and that weenie that was trying to intimidate Martha, and I'm glad she stood up.
Oh yeah, she
She
did
did
fine.
a really, really good job.
At the end,
She
when he
did
went
good.
low and started saying, you're disrespecting our troops,
But the other,
yeah.
and the other thing with this now, Hakeem Jeffries calling into the Capitol Police in to protect these 6 people because they feel threatened because the president is now after them for calling them seditious and traitors,
Such pussies.
which they are.
Such pussies.
Yeah, but they have been in that video. That was sedition. That was 100% sedition. Like they just told all the military members in the United States military not to listen to any order that they get.
So
and
it's going to cause
with
dissent for
with
sure.
no examples, no reasoning, no examples. They just set a huge ball rolling, and what Trump came out and said, no, this is seditious and it's treason and that's punishable by death. And he's not wrong because it is. It's in the book. It's in
I know.
USCMJ.
Well, that's the thing. You guys
So-
want to remind him about the UCMJ. Well, Donald Trump's reminding him about the UCMJ. But these codes of conduct and these standards, I don't think the president should be saying treason and people should be hung. I think that's stupid. And I think he needs to stop that bullshit. I don't think that's...
He does, but that's a gut reaction, and you know Donald J. Trump.
Well,
It's
I do.
like-
I do.
And it's like, it pisses him off,
I
and
know.
he's that guy. He's that guy like you, me, whatever. It's like, we have gun tape disease. If you rip the gun tape off, oh my God, you know what you're going to get. And it's not going to be pretty.
I
So,
understand. I think I just listen. He's
Yeah.
at some
I know
point.
sometimes
Some point he's got to stop. I don't think he
He
ever
does.
will. But
No.
you're going to win
But I
on this
think right
Epstein
now-
thing. Just shut up. I've told him 100 times. Just shut up. Stop talking. Let them hang themselves. This Epstein debacle. Listen, he stopped talking to Epstein in 2004. All these investigations are posthumous from his 2008 trial. That means from 2009 all the way to 2024 is what they're going to be hearing.
Yeah.
It's all Democrats. Republicans got off him right after Bush. This is going to be all Democrat involvement. This is why Trump didn't want to release it. He's going to actually come out smelling pretty like roses afterwards, because he's going to be like, I told you not to release them. But no, you didn't listen to me. He should stop threatening the sedition and treason, and that shit's got to stop. That's the shit Saddam Hussein
I know.
did.
But to me, just like you, whatever, like that was my first thing that came out when I heard that. I went, you guys are, when I heard that original whatever before I even saw the Martha whatever, I'm like, that's sedition. I'm like, that's
Yeah,
with
what
no
they did to him in
backing,
in his
whatever.
election was
My
the same
gut-
way.
My gut went, and I was angry.
Yeah.
So I can see where DJT came from.
I do too.
Yes. And he
Listen,
has
I'm
no
not
filter.
condemning him
We
for
know it.
speaking his mind. He's got to do what he's got to do. I'm just saying there's another way to handle that too. You know what you do?
It is.
You send your weekend pundits out to talk about it and say, do the Democrats understand that this is seditious? That this is seditious conspiracy? If they're so concerned with what happened on J6, maybe they should stop trying to jail opponents. Maybe they should stop trying to go ahead and sow division in this country and having a civil war. This is the type of shit they're talking about. But the President of the United States doesn't need to be threatening to hang people. I think it's really stupid.
Yeah.
Well, I agree, but I think it was, as you know, his gut, whatever. I'm sure in the next few days, like whatever, he'll back off and be the good guy again and be a good boy. And
but threaten to arrest him. You can go ahead and create investigations, create a task force, do all the things, but you don't need to threaten to hang somebody. Listen, it is innocent until proven guilty. We are the rule of law party, are we not?
True, but
well, hold on. There is no but to that, Mel. Either we believe in the rule of law and everyone's innocent until proven guilty, or we don't. Which one is it?
Oh, no. You're innocent until proven guilty.
Great.
Yeah. End of story.
Great. So the president of the United States, who literally wields a whole bunch of power, probably shouldn't be saying that you're a traitor and traitors get hung. And
correct.
I don't believe that is the best use of his his pulpit. It's just me. I don't know.
No.
And no,
he has said some truly terrible things, and he should be called out for it. But at the same time, the retaliation for those, right, coming from the left, shouldn't be more of the same. And that's the problem.
Okay, so Obama's on stage. Obama, hold on a second. Obama says, "Hey, Republicans are traitors and treasonous, and the penalty for treasonous is being hung by the neck until you're dead." Obama says it. What do you say?
Well, maybe he should be first in line because he's done a lot of that.
Okay, that's not what you say. What you say is, holy shit, this guy, how can he say this? I can't believe that the Mad Kenyan is saying this. I just don't want the double standard. If Biden said this,
the double standard. All I want is, what needs to come out, because when that video came out, nobody in the country, 99 points, other than the military people, know what the UCMJ is. And what they said falls under. So he's going on auto mode, but and I can see it in my head going, well, don't they know this is seditious, this is treasonous, this is whatever, he's going by the UCMJ, but that 99% of the joking public in the U.S. don't. So what his team does needs to come out and go, okay, yeah, that was not a really good whatever, but the response is, according to the UCMJ, this is what this kind of rhetoric entails. This is what happens when you try to do this against the government of the United States.
Okay, I want to be clear. I did not say that this shouldn't be said. I said that Donald Trump shouldn't say it, that the pundits should say it. Marco Rubio should say it. The Joint Chiefs should say it. Secretary Hegseth should say it. The Capitol Police should say it. Have the people, isn't this exactly what we're just talking about with a chain of command? The president does not need to get down in the frickin' ditches. Generals don't get in the ditches. No, you don't know, because everyone keeps arguing in chat and they're saying, oh, no. He has the right to say, no, he doesn't. Generals don't go into, he's the president of the United States of America. Have some decorum. I'm sorry. Everyone's like, oh, I don't want that. I want bloodletting. And I'm like,
no. I don't want bloodletting.
Yes, that's what everyone in chat's saying. Oh, he has a right to say it. It was seditious. They're treasonous. They're traitors.
But for a guy that has never served in a uniform, he jumped the gun. He should have not said it.
Okay.
I agree 100%.
Okay.
I'm just saying because he knows what's in that code, he just, like I said, he's got gun tape disease.
He's pissed.
Sometimes the gun tape
has
got to go back on.
He's mad.
And his handlers have got it. They've got Susie Wild, they've got to just say, look, sir, when you see something, please, whatever they have to do.
I know. But you can't rail in Trump. Listen, I'm not blaming anybody.
You can't rein him in.
No, and I'm not forcing you to agree with me. What I'm saying is that we know what Trump, there's two different things, what Trump should do and what Trump does. Everyone knows what Trump does, and we're all good with it. We voted for it. But there are times when Trump does something and all of us know, but we're afraid to say it. I'm not. Either is Leeroy.
I'm not afraid to say it.
There are some people. There are some people who are afraid.
He should have zipped his fingers, and they should take his phone away and say, "Yeah, no, you can't type anymore." You're done.
You're not going to get that. That's
yeah.
who he is. But
I know
I
you're
still
not.
hold true to
That's
the
who he
fact
is.
that there was a way for him to say this. Is he could have made a comparative analysis and said J6ers were held accountable, and Democrats said that they were seditious and conspiracy and treasonous and everything else, and treated them like the worst type of criminals. How is the language that these Democrats are using any different than what J6ers? It's not. There's no difference. You would have made that analogy. Then what you're doing is using the Democrats' decisions against them, and that's a politically advantageous decision. When you say they're treasonous traitors to me, Donald J. Trump, and they should be hung, you're going outside of. Nobody's going to remember your point. They're only going to remember that you said that the political opposition should be hung by their neck till they're dead.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's my point.
Correct.
That's all I'm saying. And I love it. I love this shit. It makes my show awesome because I get to go and say Trump is threatening to hang people. So you know what? Because I believe, I'll just say it. I think there's several politicians who should stretch. I'm not going to lie. I'm sorry, if you come in here and you make $225,000 a year and you have $127 million after 5 years, it's a pretty good chance that you should stretch.
100%.
If you send military men and women to die for something that you know
that's
what?
the bigger one to me. If somebody walks away with a shit ton of cash, I'm automatically going to assume to some level that you've backdoored the system, or that you were, insider trading, whatever the case is. For those kind of things, I find that to be far less distasteful than setting somebody like Chris Peranto. We had him on the show. Like Hillary Clinton hung him out to dry.
Right. Right.
She should stretch. Yes.
Right. Okay. But the person who also uses and makes decisions that are antithetical to the best of the people of the United States of America and makes decision based upon their stock dividends, I'm sorry, okay. If this was 1892 and somebody counterfeited U.S. Treasury currency, Leeroy, for $30,000 in certificate notes, then bought property deeds and then fired and used civil penalties to confiscate land and used cash that was stolen from the U.S. government, what would have happened to that person?
Oh, I mean, that falls under a whole slew of different UCMJ.
They would be hung,
right?
They would be hung till they're dead.
Yeah.
They would be hung till they're dead.
Swinging from a tree.
Swinging from a tree. That's right. And the reason why we know this is because we can cite examples of how this happened. The standard of law and punishment has delineated so far from each other that they no longer have anything to do with each other. It comes down to law is simply an act, and the actual accountability is based upon how much money you have. And if
laws,
it's absolutely, there is a duality of legal ramifications depending upon your status level and level of being a classist in this country.
Well, laws become subjective.
Subjective based on money, because I don't care how nice somebody is. If you don't have anything in it for you, you can't get anything back. You're not going to be given, you'll be made an example out of. Listen, do I think that I want to be clear. And let's be really honest here. Adam Schiff, is what he did treason?
Yep.
Leeroy? By fabricating evidence, working with Russian, leaking top secret classified information to harm the president, making up FISA warrants and supporting fake dossiers that were absolutely fake in order to circumvent the will of the people. Is that treason?
Yes.
Then he should swing.
Yeah.
That's right. I agree. 100%.
Lindsey Graham, who takes millions of dollars from AIPAC, takes and sends people to war and has put his ear or his mouth against Reagan's ear, Bush's ear, Donald Trump's ear, and manipulates U.S. foreign policy based upon monies coming into his bank account, has profited off the backs of U.S. soldiers' lives, and the decisions that he's made have been directly responsible for losing men and women in the U.S. military. Is that treason?
Night, night.
I think it could be art. Yeah.
So my point is that there's things that have been done and nobody is asking any questions about it. What about Nancy Pelosi? What about Nancy Pelosi? Is worth what? $375 million. Has made, and with her husband and her, has made her stock portfolio has outperformed from a overall index better than Warren Buffett. And every one of her investments can be tied into things that she oversaw in her role as House and Speaker and profited from, where other senators literally now mirror, and day traders and cryptocurrency, they just follow her investments and they're making money. Is that not treasonous?
No, I don't know if that's treason, but it is certainly suspect.
No, that's not treason.
Wait a second. Oh my God. Wait a second. Hold on a second.
Insider trading.
No. Hold on. If she took and redistributed tax dollars and took military equipment and gave it to a foreign country through a cartel to move to a Middle Eastern country, is that treason?
Yep.
Well, it happened with Iran-Contra. What is the difference between somebody who is using personal information that is top secret, exclusive? She has signed a contract, signed an NDA, signed disclosures with her security clearance that she would not use information that would be detrimental or profitable for her based upon this information. She broke classified, top secret, and her credentials and her oath that she obligated to sign. I can't remember the document she had to sign for that. I don't remember what I signed for my SSI, but you know whatever it is.
Your SF-86.
And there are specific rules that you are allowed and not allowed to do with this information that you get. What's the difference?
100%.
What's the difference between selling
100%.
state secrets and her literally investing and giving people a weather bane to which companies and which defense contractors and which chip companies are going to be successful? How is that not?
That's because one is enacted through the stock market, whereas the other is direct relationship with, in some cases, the quote unquote enemy. So at least if it was happening through the military, now you could make a stronger case for the withdrawal from Afghanistan, for example, right? What happened when we left? We ended up leaving how many billions of dollars of equipment left behind?
60 billion.
So that is in direct violation then of Article 108 that states that any military property, loss, damage, destruction, or wrongful disposition
aids the enemy.
That aids the enemy. So that's two articles.
So is that treasonous?
That could be construed as treasonous. Yes.
Okay. Then go ahead, Mel. Mel, chime in here.
Go ahead, Mel.
Then Joe Biden and Kamala Harris should be held to the yardarm as well.
Well, I think there's an argument for
that president. That withdrawal was bullshit, and he knew but he was doing for political things. He didn't even think about his people. He didn't think about anything.
Sure,
he just said, "We're done," and just run for the hills. And 13 people died, which just is and there's no accountability for the Biden administration for that fiasco, for all of it. That's treasonous. Like, you don't leave runways, you don't leave military equipment behind. That's one of the first rules of engagement when,
right,
as far as I know, with the Army guys or whatever, you destroy like, if you have to leave it, you destroy it. You don't leave it behind functional.
But at the same time, Mel, when you make a call like that as president, you are afforded certain protections. Trump has already tested those waters, right? And they've already tried to hang him out to dry for a handful of things. And you're like, look, if you're acting as president and you make a couple of calls like this, you can't be held accountable.
Here is my problem, is that I think this is a gray
Leeroy,
area.
yeah, you're right.
This is a good conversation. We're all bringing points to it that make sense. So is insider trading treason? No, but that's not my argument. Well, hold on.
It's criminal.
No, it's still
criminal.
It's still treason, and I'm going to tell you why. So just happened to pull up UCMJ Article 92: failure to obey a lawful order or regulation. Violates a federal financial ethics law, DOD regulations, or SEC rules, falls under Article 92. Article 121, larceny and wrongful appropriation of monies. Article 132, fraud against the United States. Here's the big one: conduct unbecoming. Mm-hmm. But here's the one is the big one. If you want to classify it as treason, it has to be waging war against the United States or giving aid and comfort to an enemy the U.S. is at war with. And decisions that she specifically made, from defense contractors to overseas to Chinese bases coming in, these decisions weakened the United States.
Yeah.
This is my problem. So it may not be from a financial standpoint that this is treasonous, but from a corruption standpoint, and aiding the enemy or a foreign country is. So my point is this: Donald Trump should release the DOJ on everyone. If they have profited off the death of Americans, if they have profited off of illegal investments and insider trading, if they have compromised U.S. security and their clearances, if they have broken their oath of office, Republican, Democrat, and everything in between should be held accountable to the same, and let the chips fall where they may.
Exactly. So Brendan, Milley, the rest of them, they all should be in Leavenworth.
All right. Good talk. Mel, we love you. Thanks, sister.
Mel,
love
you're
you guys.
an amazing person. We love you, dear.
Always. Talk to you soon, hon.
Thanks, Leeroy. Love you guys.
Love you too, kid. Bye. Listen, it's a good conversation. It's just, we have to be careful.
Is Congress and Senate, are they held to UCMJ standards?
Yes. They still they still hold the same. Yes. But they also have code of ethics but they swear on the Constitution just like we do. They do the same oath. The oath of enlistment is essentially what they do as well. They uphold to protect the Constitution against all enemies, foreign, domestic, blah, 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 blah.
That would have been my only caveat to that. Like, I would have just wanted to have made sure prior to, investigating what UCMJ articles they might be in violation of, to make sure that they're held to that standard to begin with. I didn't know that. That's interesting. That's cool to me.
Well, hold on a second. I want to make sure. Yeah, because the president makes the same oath of enlistment, same oath of office, same Congress and House of Representatives. They're not governed. Hold on a second. That's right. This changed. Okay, so this is absolutely true. I should have known this. I apologize. What governs is, instead of the UCMJ, it's the Article 1, Section 6. Federal criminal law, members of Congress can be charged under the same criminal statute as any citizen, fraud, bribery, whatever. Ethics and Government Act requires financial disclosure. House Ethics Committee and Senate Committee, they investigate misconduct inside Congress. The punishment is often, obviously, less severe. But now the DOJ and FBI, this is interesting. Member of Congress breaks the law, DOJ investigates and prosecutes, which is why congressional corruption cases go through federal court, not military court. Why Congress is not held to the UCMJ is they are civilians, they are not under military authority. However, the equivalent of the military versus Congress comparison is that the DOJ, Department of Justice, will use provisions from the Uniform Code of Military Justice, the Constitution, based upon anything that they've been read into that is under military designation. So like the Senate Oversight Committee, they have to follow UCMJ law because
There's
of what they're
gray area in there.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's interesting. God, why does it seem like that there's almost like a third tier of justice for these people?
Well, you remember me telling you with when it comes to Article 1, Section 6, is that in the confines of their role and job, they can say anything they want with fear of any type of civil or criminal retribution. They can go up there and they can say that they say anything they want. They can say that Donald Trump slept with a 13-year-old. And there's no recourse for anything they say. They can go out there and they say that the greatest enemy of the United States is Canada. They can go out there and say that we need to invade Canada. They can go out there and say that the moon is made of cheese, and there's no repercussion while under the confines of their role.
So how does that change once they're under oath, though? Like once you're under oath, then what? Now all of a sudden you can't say those things? It just seems like there should be more consistency as a politician with what you can and cannot say. If you can't say something under oath, maybe that should be the same rule that should be applied when dealing with the public. Maybe that should be the same rule that is applied when dealing with your constituents, when you're making an argument in Senate chambers, right? And you shouldn't be allowed to say, Donald Trump is a Nazi. That's a fact. Like, no. It's gross. God, I hate politics.
No, me too. A U.S. district judge does not have the authority to block presidential deployment of the National Guard in any way, shape, or form.
Jeez, what a mess.
Yeah, it just comes down to this: is that there is no clear indicator of how a congressperson should be held to account. Because the people who are holding them accountable are also the crooks too.
Yeah, they're in some way advantaged by the congressional position that they would be investigating.
Convicts run the jailhouse.
There's a little bit of a closed loop scenario in there where I wash your back, you watch mine, and so long as you don't, press any charges against me, then you'll also come out financially advantaged.
I think that if you're going to make decisions that funds the military, runs the military, and makes decision about defense contracting, that you should be under the UCMJ. I think that would change a lot of things. Do military tribunals.
Yeah.
Take the DOJ completely out of it and have the military try Congress people based upon their decisions that puts their troops in harm's way. Something, but then you're talking about totalitarianism and a completely different type of government.
We're already trying to make the argument that the government should be as weak as humanly possible.
And then here we are
within certain standards. Yeah. And then to your point, here we are arguing, they should also dig up, launch this huge investigative ring, bring charges against X number of people.
I know, dude. I know. I agree with you 120%, bro. Like, this is why I'm trying to slow people down. There's people who are just like, hang them all. And I'm like, okay, hold on. No,
stop.
No, but should elected officials be rated on their performance to keep their job? Yes. Yes. They should have KPI. Did you balance the budget? Were you fiscally responsible? How much fraud and waste was there? Your hiring decisions that you made? How did you help your constituency? And every year, every single American should go and rate their congressperson based upon the job that they did. And if they're rating...
Like a survey monkey.
Sure. Why not? We do it for everything else.
Yep.
in the U.S. Why not? Why not elected officials?
Time you interface with any retail establishment, at the bottom of the receipt, there's either a QR code or they will offer you some level of survey with the potential that you might be rewarded for it later. And you get to respond and tell that retail establishment, this is how you did, in my opinion. Why? I think that's a great idea. We should be able to do that for our politicians.
And if you fiscally, like, say you don't spend, you miss 27% of your votes, you're given a warning. And then the next session, if you then miss 27% of your votes, you're removed from Congress, and an open election is held.
Wouldn't
and
that
the
be a
state,
great app?
yes,
that would be so. Hear me out.
Yeah,
I would love to see an app like that, where
there is
you proudly on your phone, right? You select whether or not you feel like you're a Republican, Democrat, Independent, and what your policy stance is on the big six. So abortion, gun control, things like that, right? And once you've done that, right, that tells the government, or that tells anybody who bought into the survey, that this is X number of people who have downloaded this app. This is their position. That gives them some solid numbers to begin with. Then you also say, all right, I live in the great state of Virginia, Ohio, Florida, wherever. And you survey monkey everyone in that chain, everyone that you've interacted with. Wouldn't that be great?
You know what? Here's the cool thing. Yes, and there is something that already does that. It's called NPS. It's called the Net Promoter System. And Net Promoter does the same thing, but there's something, and you add, please ban Jackson William. Hold on. I need to ban this douche plow.
I see him.
I've said it 70 times, and I can't get... Oh, it's so hard to get good help these days. Hold on. Let me just get this person out of here. What a jackhole. Everybody keeps... Oh, he's... Okay, so what I need you guys to do is... These guys are getting smart. They've learned to block us. Can somebody tag him, please? Like, so I can find his page?
How do I do that?
Let me see if I can figure this out.
I don't think I have the same.
No, it's okay. If someone can go to his page, copy the link and paste it in chat, I can go to his page and ban him.
Here, hold on. I'm on it.
Okay,
Control
good.
C.
Make that happen.
Give me 2 seconds. I'm almost there.
He's on Facebook.
This is your page, Matt. It's coming up now.
Good. Easiest way. She didn't get him. Did you put it in chat? Where'd you put it?
Yeah. Yep.
Wait, you sent it to my phone? Or you sent it to...
No. Chat.
It's not showing up. There it is. Chuck got it.
Wait, mine didn't show up?
No. It's content. Oh, he blocked me already. What a douche. Yeah, he blocked me. What a dick. All right, whatever. Let's finish up, folks. We're all just huge goal tonight. We've done a great job. Please help me, if you would not mind, and let's continue to donate. We've got some other things to go, and then I got to go watch my abs here soon. But we've got some good stuff. So here is a video I wanted to show you. Man, that took a lot tonight. I mean, that was a lot. How about this? How about we listen to the Sean Ryan show? Had the head of security from Charlie Kirk come in.
Mess member.
What's that?
He's a mess member, former Master Chief.
Yeah. He wasn't a team guy. Was he?
Who? Sean Ryan?
Yeah. No, I know Sean. I'm talking about the head of security for Charlie Kirk. That's who I was talking about.
Oh, no, I don't know about that guy.
Yeah, I know what Sean did. Sean Ryan interviewed him. Here it is. I want you guys to listen to this. By the way, Martin, okay. For those of you who said it wasn't a 30-06, can I just tell you something? Please do me a favor. I know there's a lot of skeptics out there. Please go do me a favor and go look up Martin Luther King. Find out where Martin Luther King was shot, what type of round Martin Luther King was shot with, and did he have his neck and head remaining? Okay, end of story. So don't give me this whole thing that a 30-06 was going to blow Charlie Kirk's head clean off. There are several ways that a 30-06 round, I've already covered it many times with y'all, and all the people are saying, oh, well, it hit Martin Luther King's jawbone, and the jawbone is the most densest bone in the body. That's true, actually, except for the spine. So can we just calm down? Here is the security. God, we need more shot. I need another hour tonight, but I can't. Shit. That topic was too good, though.
You know, there's been a lot of rumors going around about there was no autopsy, none of that. Was there an autopsy?
There was, and I can speak to that. Personally, I can speak to that. One, for those people saying that, do a FOIA. Do a FOIA to the medical examiner's office to Utah County. Get off your lazy ass and do a FOIA. They may not give you the autopsy information right now, but they'll certainly tell you, yeah, there's an autopsy. That's the first one. The second one was the OR doc. Your question earlier about a pulse. We'll get back to that. And so they ended up working him in the room, and they ended up taking him to the OR because they got a pulse.
They did get a pulse?
They did get a pulse. But Charlie was a healthy man. He was very cognizant of his health, and he was a strong guy. And
they've had a pulse?
But
hold on. How long had it been since the shot to the hospital?
I have no idea, but you can.
I mean, that is a jugular shot.
You can be dead. A central nervous system. You got a strong heart, right? And that's what the OR doc told me.
Okay.
He said that's what it was.
Yeah, of course.
Holy shit.
Well, yeah. And so
it's not
I have no way of
uncommon.
I'm not a doctor. I just know what he told me, and so we go to that and I'm sorry, what was your question again?
We were talking about the autopsy.
Oh, the autopsy. And so once they came down and said he didn't make it, and he talked about, he said if he'd have been shot in the OR, I wouldn't have been able to save him.
Right. That's why the pulse doesn't matter.
I mean, he's just kind of confirming things that already knew.
Human body can have brain function for 5 minutes after a heart stops and dies. So, Leeroy, you got to go. You look tired.
No, I'm good.
You sure?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And so, and so I don't know how long. Well, I don't know what the timeline was, but I want to say, I can't remember who it was, but I knew. I was like, we're not going to turn this into some JFK. I specifically asked one of the doctors. I don't know. I remember what she looked like. Dark skin.
Don't worry, Candace Owens will take care of that for you.
Like dark hair, probably 35, 40 years old. I said, how long until we can get an autopsy? And I remember her saying a day and a half. And I was like, oh. And so, I mean, she's the boss of that. That's just information. And so I remember I was like, man, that's a long time. We need to get this autopsy done and done right so that there's not some conspiracy. So, I mean, you're starting to think forward to that. And so I remember I was standing next to the chief of staff and the vice president called. And the vice president asked him, what do you need?
Welcome, Chrissy. We're not big fans of Candace Owens here. And You can say whatever you want. We just have one rule here. Opinion is fine, but when people state it as fact, you might get challenged, and that's usually where we rub people the wrong way. I rub people the wrong way. Leeroy is very tactful. I'm not. If you're gonna make an opinion, do it. Love it. Love opinion. But when people are like, "This is for sure," and you're wrong, have your receipts.
And then he looked at
the
me
big thing.
Yeah, have your receipts.
and said, "What do we need?" And I said, "We need an autopsy now." So for these people that are saying there wasn't one done, go away. It was done. It was done. Do it for you. Yeah. Get the report.
So there were plenty of other. It's a very interesting interview, and you could feel the man who he's just like we are. We are sick of this Candace Owens bullshit. She's just asking questions. Why not listen to her? Because if you do, you're going to get dumber. Candace Owens, I mean, she has been nonstop all week about this Egyptian plane shit, and I got to show you this, Leeroy, because I want you to be dumber too. I'm sorry. Candace Owens has finally figured out timelines. Enjoy this. Enjoy this, Leeroy. This is for you, buddy. Here it is.
Did it have a Z at the end of the time?
Oh God, she's so stupid. She's just a bag of rocks. She's a bag of rocks.
Morning of Charlie's assassination, the plane that had initially carried over the 12 or 14 quote unquote Egyptians 6 days earlier, that plane departed. The yellow plane departed on the morning.
Who is she quoting? Is she quoting herself? Quote unquote Egyptians. You're the one who's calling the plane an Egyptian plane. So why are you quoting yourself? Just say the Egyptians. Because you're the quote, dumbass.
7:14 a.m. local time from Provo, Utah. And it headed to Wilmington, Delaware. Okay. It arrived in Wilmington, Delaware at 11:51 a.m. Eastern. So that's at around 9:51 a.m. Utah time. Okay. Charlie's going to get shot at 12:23.
Okay.
This plane.
Even though you said that time was wrong and he wasn't shot at 12:23 because Tyler Robertson wasn't even there at 12:23 is what you said. So he was shot earlier is what you said. But never mind. Was this before or after the trapdoor? Did the Egyptian plane come through the trapdoor in the floor? Or okay, never mind.
Has landed into Wilmington at what would be 9:51 a.m. So about 2.5 hours before Charlie is shot.
Okay.
And then, for whatever reason, these Egyptians,
no air quotes there. Okay, hold on. No, watch this shit. Watch this shit.
Decided to stay in Wilmington, Delaware for a night until the following day.
Oh,
I don't know. Where did they sleep? Where did they go? Again, what goes on in Wilmington, Delaware? Because
in a hotel, I'm pretty sure. And the reason why is that there are 7 Fortune 50 companies in Wilmington, Delaware. It is a metropolis of corporate entities because it is literally one of the cheapest places outside of New Mexico to put a corporate office. So go figure that a private jet would be flying there with a bunch of billionaires on it or whatever it is.
Right.
DuPont is there.
Isn't that kind of insulting? Right?
Oh, just wait. Oh,
to
God.
think that Egyptians, and I used the air quotes because she did, wouldn't be able to acquire a place to stay. Like you could only stay at a Red Egyptian Inn or a Comfort Egyptian Inn.
Yeah. I can't even think of La Quinta Egyptiana.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, she's an idiot, dude. She's dumb as literal dog shit. I'm not done.
Married Egyptian.
They departed September 11th at 7:56 a.m. That means that we can definitively rule out that this was just a fuel stop, right? Nobody's like, let me fuel up my private military jet and sleep on the plane.
Military jet?
So there was something in Wilmington that held the interest of our Middle Eastern people that are here for some reason. Well, like I said, someone emailed us and we took our time vetting this.
Oh, yeah. Took her time. Let me explain something real quick. I just need a minute. Diane and Doug Frost were my next door neighbors. The one thing about Diane, Doug, David, Debbie, and Dinky was the dog. Everyone had a D in their name. I don't know why that's completely a useless factoid, but we created on the side of my house, we got 4 barrel drums, and it was a shared walkway. One fence went into my backyard, one fence went into theirs. And we had a pool. And inside there were, on side of the house, there were juniper trees. And then there was a cement walkway. And right in between one of the juniper trees, we got 4 barrels, 50-gallon drums, metal. Got them, there were oil rigs down in the barranca. We brought them in. And then we would put a pallet on top of it. And then we would put tarps over it, and we created a clubhouse. And we would go in there, and we'd have lunch, you know, and we'd have secret code word to get in. And this is what we did.
Okay.
So one time, I got, the dentist had a rolling, like a stamp where you could change the date and time and stamp, you know, those old rubber stamps that,
yeah.
Okay. But instead it had the letters on it, you could spell out words, and you could add more to it, more bands, and expand it, whatever. Mr. Holiday 696, great show tonight. Thank you very much. We appreciate it, Maddie. So I created these, the best way to describe it is like ransom letters. And I would leave little clues all over in front of the treasure and pretend that somebody else was contacting us and was leaving notes. So we would go into the club. Yeah, and I was trying to fool them. And we go to the club, and I'm like, what is this? And it's a note. And it said, walk to the elementary school, and 27 paces past the merry-go-round, you will find your next clue. Mm-hmm. And I made it look real professional and everything else. And we, all of a sudden, we're like, oh my God, we got to go. We get on our bikes, we go up to school. And I had early morning woken up, and I had buried little bobble poppers. Remember, you put the 25 cents in the machine, you get this little bobble thing, and then you open it up, and it's a little stretchy toy or whatever, and those little plastic bobbles. Yeah. So I'd bury them. And I would put a ring in there, you know, and just a fake plastic ring with a blue gem in it. And, you know, it would say, hold the blue gem up to the 3rd oak tree to get yourself whatever. And in the oak tree, I put a piece of like reflective foil up there. And when you held up the blue thing, you actually could really, really see it clearly. I'm like, oh my God. And then if they didn't get the clue, I would walk them towards it because I'm the one that set up the clue. So I'm like, oh my God, it's in the tree. And they'd be like, how the fuck did you know that? But I would do these stupid things. And the point is that that's how we would play. It'd be like Pirate Treasure and Goonies and stuff like that. And I was trying to deceive them, but having fun at the same time. And I was creative. Mm-hmm. So after, you know, doing this massive thing, they got sick and tired of it. And they were just like, this is stupid. You did this. I'm like, no, I didn't. It wasn't me. Somebody's trying to tell, you know, and I just had this active imagination. So at the next day, I go and go into the fort, and there's a letter, and I didn't put it there. And I'm like, oh, fuck, they did it. Of course they did. So they come over, and they're like, what's going on? What's this? It's a letter. Somebody's doing this. And I'm like, no, nobody's not, because I'm the one that created, but I can't say that.
Right.
Because if I out myself, like, I know you're lying because I created the first one. So I obviously can't choose the wine in front of me. You truly have a dizzying intellect.
Wait till I get going.
Where was I? So,
Asia.
So, I put myself in a classic conundrum. Is that I couldn't call them liars because I was a liar. Candace Owens is leaving notes for all of us. And we're all playing along like she is some master investigator and that she has all the receipts and that she's not crazy, because we all want somebody to tell us the truth. And we just believe that Candace Owens is finding all these little notes and clues, and eventually it'll lead somewhere. Right. But you all know what's going on. You all know she's a complete narcissistic, freaking chronic liar. But you can't say anything because then that would mean you would have to admit that you were duped and that you've been either duped or you've been lying right along with her.
Right.
And that is what happened when I was younger. It's the best way I can describe it. And you guys keep saying she's just asking questions, but nobody can question her. Nobody can question her. So let me get this straight. Candace can just ask questions, but if we ask questions about how sane she is, all of a sudden we're getting paid $7,000 by the Jews. Makes sense. Leeroy, did you want to chime in on that?
No, it's funny that, I always do that. I don't know why I do that. I say no, and then I have a comment.
Can I tell you what I know what that reflex is? In sales, it's the same thing. So when you walk, I learned this in customer service, and it's called the reflex response. The reflex response psychologically is when you walk into a retail establishment and the first thing a person says is, "Hi, sir, how are you doing? Did you need anything I can help you with?" And your answer always is, "No, I'm good. I'm just looking." Then you walk by and then you stop and go, "Actually," it's a reflex response.
It's totally me.
Yeah, it's you.
I think how could I put this? I first of all, I think your assessment is completely on point and fair.
Thanks.
When you're not allowed to ask questions of somebody else, and then that kind of means that they're trying to lead you to believe that they are above reproach, that they are, well, this is just, everybody knows this, right? I tend to hear a lot of that. And I think that asking obvious questions is sometimes a healthy thing. If we were allowed to ask more of the obvious questions that maybe aren't so obvious, that would peel back quite a bit on her audience. That would expose quite a bit of her logical fallacies that she's just buying into.
She's just making this shit up, dude.
She is.
She's just making this shit up. She calls it whistleblowers. I'm like, you getting an email from somebody who's just as much of a loon as you are.
Right.
Do you know how much shit I get on a daily basis, Leeroy, that I couldn't possibly put on this show because it is so completely effing wrong? My credibility would just go because some of the stuff that I get, Leeroy, it's bad.
Oh, I know.
Oh my God. Listen, this pastor I've been following this guy now and listening to his stuff. He is outstanding. Listen to this.
That's a good
Candace Owens has rightfully become the spokesperson of Charlie Kirk's legacy. Only she cares about what happened to him, and you need to back off this sinister smear attack against her.
Do we really think that the only person who cares what happened to Charlie Kirk is Candace Owens? His kids might care, his wife might care, Andrew Colvett might care, the vice president might care, the president might care. And I would just submit to you that any of these people have access to better data than Candace Owens. And if Erica Kirk says, "I've seen the data and I think they have the shooter," I'm going with the not crazy widow, who's a great woman. I care.
Yeah.
Charlie was my friend. I'm not saying I'm, at the top of the bingo card or anything, but I love Charlie. I miss Charlie. I enjoy Charlie. I care.
Yeah. He's hanging with Jesus. You'll see him again.
Pastor Mark Driscoll, if you have not had a chance to listen to him. Leeroy, this is the one I'm going to show you, and then we're going to let you get out of here. Two I'm going to show you because I got to show you these two. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
This is Michael Knowles. And this is going to infuriate you because this is. He's not on the screen right now, Leeroy. He's the one in the beard. He's incognito. He's now a ginger. So I want you to listen at how Michael Knowles just dismantles these idiots, and they don't even know what to do. And
well, hold on. Before you do that, let's pose a little bit of a challenge for Leeroy. Leeroy's challenge time, right? Right before they get done talking, or right after they get done talking, but before Michael comes on, let me see if I can guess what he's going to say.
Okay.
So hold on. You make a very good point, which is that first-time entry, barring other conditions, can be a misdemeanor for sure.
Yeah.
Re-entry would be a felony.
So he's talking about illegal immigrants already have broken the law the moment that they get here.
Correct.
And these guys are saying that they are not criminals and doing anything wrong whatsoever. They are contributing to taxes, contributing to income tax. Okay, you ready?
Yep.
There are other associated crimes with this. However, I would ask one question. Do illegal aliens pay federal taxes?
Yeah, actually, they do.
They do.
Sales
Now, hold on.
tax and income tax often. Yeah.
All right. So do illegal aliens pay income tax?
No.
Federal income tax? Yes, they. A lot of them do.
Under what?
They steal social security numbers. I've got two illegal aliens who've stolen my social security number in El Paso, Texas, who work under my social security number. I've reached out to the FBI, Department of Treasury. Nobody will have them removed. Nobody.
So you're saying that they have effectively stolen your ID?
No, they've stolen my social security number.
To pay taxes for what purpose?
So they can be employed. Because in Texas, you have to verify Social Security through I-9. So they take, in order to get the job, they have to use a valid Social Security number to I-9. And as long as you have that, companies don't ask any questions. So one works at a car wash, another one works at a Village Inn. He's worked at Village Inn for 16 years. The other guy works at a car wash, and he's worked at that car wash for like 25 years.
Damn.
And every year, I get my taxes done, and they pay taxes on that income. I kid you not. It's absolutely true. So they use black market.
So they're paying their taxes, but they're paying it illegally, just for the mere advantage that they can stay within the boundaries of the United States.
So you just figured out how Michael Knowles is going to trap these idiots. Watch this.
90 billion. Actually, the IRS has a
believe.
whole system for people who are undocumented to file taxes.
Okay, so I'm
glad. And by the way, economists overwhelmingly believe that immigration, including illegal immigration, is a net positive.
Forget about that. I just have one. I have one question for you. Because if you make the point, as you have, that actually, illegal aliens, even though they don't have social security numbers, they do pay federal taxes because, to get employment, sometimes they'll use other social security numbers, so they don't get the benefits, but they do pay into the system.
That's a fact.
Yeah, okay. That's a federal crime. 42 U.S. Code, Section 408.
Sure.
It's a federal crime to steal a social security number. So there you go. You got it.
I just want to be clear.
The IRS has a process for people to pay taxes without
stealing the social security number, which you just admitted is a crime.
What happens here is we muddy up violent crime versus paperwork.
Okay, so now we've upped it. It's not that they don't commit crimes, it's that they don't commit violent crimes. Okay.
It's called moving the goalposts. And I can't stand people who do this shit. Listen.
It's dishonest. It is not good faith arguments. And if the only defense is, well, they haven't done anything violent yet, because there's a whole slew of people behind them who have committed violent crimes. Everyone who's participated in human smuggling rings and allowing rape crimes to undocumented, to people they're trying to bring into the country. They're violating labor laws. They're stealing social security numbers. In some cases, they're importing drugs. This is not a good thing. This is why we need to make sure that we have the bouncer at the door that is saying, all right, hold on, put your hands up, let me pat you down, right? That's when you get the ticket into the club. Right? That is when you have applied for citizenship and have gone through the legal coursework. Once you have jumped through those hoops, come on in. I want to see you. But until then.
Yep. So here's what happens. So a lot of people are asking, does that put me in a higher tax bracket? Who gets the Social Security? Who gets the Medicaid? Well, they have a Social Security number. So qualification for retirement or Medicaid, it doesn't matter. I have to reach that age before they would. But what happens is that this is what happens. The process that they're talking about is that once you've identified that somebody's on your Social Security number, you have to file a form with the IRS, and then that is removed from your overall tax liability. So I see it every year. It pops up and they go, do you still work in El Paso? I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? And they go, oh, I see it. And then they see that form, and then it's simply removed and deducted. So they keep them on my Social Security number. They allow them to work. They know where they work. They know where they live. They know everything about them. And instead of going and getting them and shipping them out of our country, they just write an exemption, and that is removed from my overall tax liability.
It's insane.
Instead of doing it, I've called the FBI. I've been working on this for 25 years because there was a time, as you and I both know, that when you work in the civilian sector with your security clearance, that you're allowed to extend your security clearance, but essentially a brush up investigation and overview is done. Right? Right.
Sure.
So needless to say, that showed up on investigations before, that I was living in El Paso and had multiple jobs. So you can imagine what complications that created for me when it came to CID and anyone who was actually running my background investigation. So I've called ICE. I've called everybody. Nobody will do anything about it. I've called everybody. Go check your social security number. That's what you need to do. And you need to have them do a full audit on your social security number and all funding. You can look it up on any .gov, and you can look up and see if you've had a job that you've never had, and it's on there. More than likely, it's illegal. I've called ICE. I've called everybody. Nobody will do anything.
What a mess.
Nobody. I gotta show. Can I show you these next two clips and then we're done?
Yeah.
I've hit Steve Bannon. Found another clip for you.
I don't like him.
So here's the thing, folks. Steve Bannon's either lying then or lying now. Which one is it? You tell me. There's a lot of Steve Bannon fans in here, and I'm going to keep exposing these people. Here it is.
What do you think about foreign aid to Israel? Is it a strategic partnership?
Israel is a partner of the United States, but people in Israel got to understand something. The number one enemy to the people in Israel are American Jews that do not support Israel and do not support MAGA. Okay, MAGA and the evangelical Christians and the traditional Catholics in this country have Israel's back. They have the Jews' back. The biggest single enemy to the Jewish people are not the Islamic supremacists. The biggest enemy you have is inside the wire. Progressive Jewish billionaires that are funding all this stuff. They are the number one enemy, and the people in Israel have to set that right. Because MAGA has your back, traditional Catholics have your back, and evangelical Christians have your back. We will always have the back of Israel. But I got to tell you, you have an enemy inside the wire.
How do we explain this to conservatives, though?
That was 1 year ago. So he was lying then or he's lying now. Which one? Which one?
Was there
nobody
a second piece to that?
No.
Was there a second interview where he contradicted that?
Yeah, every single show that he does now is anti-Jew.
I have never watched his show, so I don't.
The people who do know. Listen, I've been covering this for quite a bit with Bannon. Everything Bannon says now is anti-Netanyahu, anti-Israel, there's no such thing as Judeo-Christianity. He's going the way of Nick Fuentes, going the way of Candace Owens, going the way of Tucker Carlson, because that's the way the wind's blowing. They know that the youth movement is predominantly America first and anti-Israel. So they're all moving towards this. And the reason why they're doing it is because it's politically advantageous and it's financially advantageous for them. Hey, well, let me guess, I got someone else for you.
Right.
I got some here. Listen to this. Tell me this. She was either lying then or she's lying now. You tell me when. Here you go. Here's your sister, Candace Owens, for everybody.
Actually, now that we're focusing and talking about Israel, I want to talk about this current tide of anti-Semitism that seems to be creeping up because not enough people are talking about this. Mm-hmm. And I am paying Jeremy Corbyn, for example, linking arms with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, both of them hostile towards Israel, unapologetically, by the way. That's even more alarming, is that it's unapologetic. You got Ilhan Omar, right? Linking arms with AOC, who also is open. She just is just like, hello, I hate Jews. That's pretty much her platform. And we have the three of them coming together, and it boggles my mind.
Me too.
Because it's scary.
It's scary that we have Hamas in our Congress.
Rashida Tlaib. These people are openly saying that they support Hamas. They it's.
And Hamas openly supports the murder of Jews for money.
Right.
And it's so evil that it's invisible. That's the thing about anti-Semitism. It is so evil that it's invisible. Well, there are always like really obese people from the Midwest that are telling about how Israel should be.
Right. It's like
it's like, why aren't you going to die? You don't know crap about people in Israel.
Wow. She's either lying then or lying now. Which one? Would you guys like to see the Bannon one where he says Judeo-Christian ethics are the absolute stability for the Western civilization, that the Jews are the best friends of Christians? Can we go, lying then, lying now? Which one? You guys, these people are 100% grifters. There is nothing else. Megyn Kelly's going that way. Go ahead.
There is a group of conservative, we'll say, media influencers, and they're weak. What happens is they have to cling on to a story, right? Because they think that either one, it's going to get them clicks. Two, that if it's a hot button enough issue, well, I mean, basically it's all just to gain traction within the social media realm. But they will come up with these increasingly outlandish headlines or stories, whether it's about Egyptian airplanes or, whatever the case is. What Matt is talking about is how people contradict themselves. They get caught in the lie over time because Steve Bannon doesn't remember what he said 2 years ago or a year ago. Right?
That's what happens when you lie.
That's the problem. And so what you have to understand is that there are people out there who are trying to sell you the message because you're a conservative. And what they're trying to sell you is a false bill of lading. They're trying to sell you a product that they think you're just dumb enough to bite on. Don't give these people any credit. The people that truly have your best interests at heart are the people that are telling you to go dig for yourself, to not be... I don't want everyone to listen to what I'm saying and say, well, Leeroy said it, so it must be true. No, I want you to do a little bit of the legwork yourself. If what I'm saying makes sense, and I'm hoping that it does, then go with it. But please do enough of your own research so that when hopefully the idea is that I would never be caught in a lie. I would never be caught in contradicting myself a year apart because my messaging is always the same.
Yeah, and if it changes, you're going to be honest and upfront with people as to why. But if you ask Steve Bannon why? Well, because of Gaza. Well, then why are you specifically going after Judeo-Christian ethics? Why are you repudiating Israel? And let me ask you a question. When it comes to Jews, okay, Jews make up what percentage of the overall population? 2%. Well, do you understand that 30% of the religions out there only believe in Jesus Christ as their savior? 70% of the world's religions repudiate Christ as not being God. So why is it only the Jews that you have a problem with? Why don't you go after the Muslims? Why don't you go after Buddhists? There are plenty of other religions that don't believe in Jesus Christ. Why is it the Jews? There are specific reasons why they're targeting the Jews. I don't have time to show it to you. But Dave Smith, I'll show it to you tomorrow, and this is probably one of the best interviews you'll see, just gets absolutely dismantled. Dave Smith gets dismantled by Coleman Hughes, who is just super good. If you have not listened to Coleman Hughes, he is like... The best way that I can describe him is like an Idris Elba with a Malcolm X delivery, but with like a Mark Twain intelligence level.
You had me at Idris Elba.
Yeah, but without the socialism with Mark Twain. I'm going to show you this last thing, and then I swear to God we're done unless you got to go right now. You got to go now?
No, but I do need to go at 9:30.
I know, 2 minutes. Jasmine Crockett responds to Lee Zeldin saying he never took donations from Jeffrey Epstein. Jasmine Crockett laid out and named George Bush. She named like 30 different people, 12 different people, and said Lee Zeldin took money from Jeffrey Epstein. She was caught. She was lying. This is the response. You guys need to see this because these lies, this is going to, look at the Democrats. Hakeem Jeffries reached out to Epstein for money and also to have him at a dinner fundraising event. You take a look at the U.S. Virgin Islands legislature, who was in a hearing against Donald Trump and was being texted and had a phone call earlier from Jeffrey Epstein. Okay, I mean, we can go on and on and on and on and on. Now look at this. Now you have Jasmine Crockett lying. Listen to this.
Democrat who's been on defense over Jeffrey Epstein is Stacey Plaskett. She represents the Virgin Islands. She was texting with Jeffrey Epstein the day of Michael Cohen's hearing. Her questions pretty closely followed the text messages between the two of them to ask about Rona Graff, Trump's longtime assistant. You were defending her today, or in recent days, yesterday, and you talked about Republicans taking money from a Jeffrey Epstein. Here's what you said.
Who also took money from somebody named Jeffrey Epstein, as I had my team dig in very quickly. Mitt Romney, the NRCC, Lee Zeldin, George Bush, Win Red, McCain Palin, Rick Lazio.
You mentioned Lee Zeldin there. He's now a cabinet secretary. He responded and said it was actually Dr. Jeffrey Epstein, who's a doctor that doesn't have any relation to the convicted sex trafficker. Unfortunate for that doctor, but that is who donated to a prior campaign of his. Do you want to correct the record on the people that
Listen, I never said that it was that Jeffrey Epstein, just so that people understand when you make a donation, your picture
What a lazy
what a
not there.
Just admittedly.
And because they decided to spring this on us in real time, I wanted the Republicans to think about what could potentially happen because I knew that they didn't even try to go through the FEC. So my team, what they did is they Googled, and that is specifically why I said a Jeffrey Epstein, unlike Republicans.
Nothing like a fake, cheap dime store hood rat.
I at least don't go out and just tell lies. Because it was not the same one, that's fine. But when Lee Zeldin had something to say, all he had to say was it was a different Jeffrey Epstein.
He did.
He admitted that he did receive donations from a Jeffrey Epstein, so at least I wasn't trying to mislead people. Now, have I dug in to find out who this doctor is? I have not. So I will trust and take what he says, is that it wasn't that Jeffrey Epstein, but I was not attempting to mislead anybody. I literally had maybe 20 minutes before I had to do that debate.
Yeah, but people might see that and say, well, you're trying to make it sound like he took money from
I did not know.
a registered sex offender.
No, but I literally did not know. When you search FEC files, and that's what I had my team to do, I
Then
texted
maybe
them and
you
I said,
should have
listen,
shut the fuck up.
we're going up. They are saying that she took donations.
Right, but someone might say, well, your team should have done the homework to make sure it wasn't the convicted sex trafficker.
Within 20 minutes, you could not find that out, not from just doing a quick search on FEC.
It took me about a minute and a half. Just FYI, everybody.
So, number one, I made sure that I was clear that it was a Jeffrey Epstein, but I never said that it was specifically that Jeffrey Epstein.
You didn't say a, you said the Jeffrey Epstein, the, as in the, of someone who is completely infamous, the Jeffrey Epstein. You didn't say Dr. Epstein. You didn't say Mr. Epstein. You didn't say Joffrey. You said Jeffrey Epstein. That's like saying Elvis. And you're saying, wait a second, there's a lot of Elvises out there. I didn't mean Elvis the King. That's why I said a Elvis.
So as it turns out, Jeffrey Epstein, since like the late 90s to mid 2000s, I think the actual time frame was like 2002 to like 2012 or something along those lines. He had given something like over $100 million. 87% of that went to Democrats.
Democrats, that's right. That's
so
true.
So it would make sense here. Hear me out. It would make sense in the karma justice that is the Democrat Party, that while she is trying to throw all of these darts at other people to say that person took money for Jeffrey Epstein, somebody should look into her FEC records, and I wonder if there will be any donations in there from one Jeffrey Epstein, the real guy. I'm not saying that's in there. I'm saying it would be karma if it was.
So Chrissy says, do you think Jeffries was asking for money from this Dr. Epstein? No, because this was in the estate of Jeffrey I fuck kids Epstein. There's the difference. She went and looked up FEC filings,
right,
which is election commission, has to disclose these investments within a quarter of getting them, and looked up and searched Jeffrey Epstein and found a bunch of Republicans who had Dr. Jeffrey Epstein give him money. That's like, you know, I'm sure there's somebody out there named Hannibal Lecter or something and saying Hannibal Lecter gave money to, come on, or Lizzie Borden, Elizabeth Borden is out there, whatever. Right. I mean, you can go out there and do it. I'm sure there's a Theodore Nugent,
right,
who may have donated, but that is just, that is completely just associated. First of all, it's a fallacy. It's a fallacy argument. It's a complete straw man argument because you're making a connection that doesn't exist, and then saying, well, I was trying to teach the Republicans a lesson about releasing these files could be dangerous. Wait a second. That's what Donald Trump said. Donald Trump said, I don't want to release these things because innocent people are going to get hurt. This is a perfect example of it. And this is what's going to happen to Hakeem Jeffries. It's what's going to happen to everybody. Anyone who associated, who's in those emails, is going to be castigated out of society. And this is what happened in the Me Too movement. And Donald Trump was just saying, I'm not going to release these because I don't. And he said it a year and a half ago on Fox that he wasn't going to be very, very careful with releasing these because of the inadvertent blowback that would be created. And Jasmine Crockett just proved why Trump didn't want to release them. All she had to say was, I made a mistake. I was stupid. I was wrong. I shouldn't have done it. No, you got to make this up. No, it was a clever ruse that you guys missed. You missed the lesson I was trying to teach everybody.
Bullshit. Because she sat there and said, I wasn't trying to be misleading while trying to mislead. She's caught in her own lie, and she had no way to backpedal out of it. And she made herself look like an idiot in the meantime.
She's
good on her for doing it.
She's a whore.
Good on her for doing it because, well, to your point, I mean, she might be a dirty cum rag. I don't know. Maybe she is.
She is. Well, first of all, she's Ivy League educated who speaks with a I'm from Watts. And I can show you video of her where she's like, actually, listen, Puffy. And then now she's like, oh, shit, man, gangsta boogie, man. What the shit? Man, come on.
I love the people that can use $2 words, right? And can interface on that level. But then they immediately have to, when they get shaken up, they immediately just fucking fall apart. And
she's the opposite.
Fall back into their roots, you know?
She leads with, oh, mama can't say hang no anyhow. But then when she gets pissed, she's like, actually, all right. Leeroy, get out of here. 10 seconds. Now, don't do a minute. Give me 10 seconds.
She's like, excuse me, stewardess, I speak jive. God, I love that.
Some slip, Jack. Mama can't say hang no anyhow. What it is, sis.
This was a great night. To the people who donated, to the anonymous donation of $300.
Yeah, no way.
You are a damned rock star. Thank you so much. Thank you to everyone who donated. You guys have no idea how much that helps to keep us afloat. In the meantime, please continue to question everything through a politician's mouth and media. Do that, and maybe we've got a chance at saving America, you know?
Yeah, I'm already turning off the lights. I'm going to go watch my game. Good night, everybody. Thanks for everything. We'll see you guys tomorrow at 7 o'clock. Olivia and I will close you out for Red Friday. Leeroy, you're the man. Thanks, brother.
Love you guys.
Good night, everybody.
Adjusting transmitter output. This is the Don't Unfriend Me Show with your hosts, Matt, Leeroy, Amy, and Olivia. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on all major social media channels at The Dumb Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.